swallowed. Feel the freedom like no tomorrow. Stepping for the cure for a soul's demise. Reap the tears of the victim's cries. Yearning more to heal the sufferer of a demon as I put it under. Kill before it's time to kill them all. Pass down the righteous law. Servant justice that dwells in me. Love live gone to sorrows the youngest. The youngest. The youngest.
Show yourself, algae.
Against those who are dead.
Hello, hello, chat. We'll be live soon, but good to see ya.
They will see, we'll fight until eternity. Come with me, we'll stand and fight together. Through our strength, we'll make a better day tomorrow. We shall never surrender.
Last song before stream, chat! And I feel like it's a little apt. Hello, hello, hello! What's going on, chat? What is going on? Yes, but remember, I do love this song, chat. Hello, hello, everybody! Yeah! I do actually really enjoy this song, so we'll let it play a little bit. But it's so good to see ya! Back to back! Don't do it again! Back to back! Yeah!
The song is Guilty Gear.
Heavy Day from Guilty Gear.
Yeah.
Back to back. Down. Lazy town. What a heavy day. Yes, Shadow. I do enjoy that song. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very, very tropical episode of the Op Block, your one-stop shop for everything commentary, news, going on the internet, research, and all things in between. I'm your host, FalGEXE, coming at you live and alive from the Op Block Studios, and joining me today are some of my very, very, very special people on the internet. You know them, you love them. It's Ash! What's going on, Ash?
Nothing much. I took a nap. I cut up some watermelon. I cut my finger, and now I'm here.
Listen, based watermelon, based cutting of your finger. Sometimes things happen. Yes, it's Kitty Ash today. And bringing up the rear in my heart and yours, it's the one, it's the only, it's Uncool Greg. What's going on, Greg?
Hi.
Hi. What's going on, Greg? What'd you do today?
Chores.
Chores? What was your favorite chore from today, Greg?
I didn't have one.
What's your least favorite chore?
They're all even, you know?
They're all even. You like to place salt on your watermelon. I have heard that before.
I've heard that
pers-
before. I
Salt
have
or
not done
tahine.
Tahine, I've heard.
Ooh, I heard
Tahine I've
tahine.
had. Hot take, I think watermelon is terrible. I've personally, I don't find, okay. So I don't
You
think
just need to
watermelon
find a good
tastes like
watermelon.
anything. That's my thing.
It tastes like watermelon.
Yeah,
It-
it's just like water.
Yeah, but
No,
that's the
that
whole
doesn't
thing.
taste like water.
It just
It
doesn't
tastes like
taste like
watermelon.
anything to me.
It's sweet.
It tastes like sweet water.
It doesn't taste like sweet
Well,
water.
isn't.
I like honeydew and things like that.
I don't like honeydew. Honeydew
I like
tastes gross.
cantaloupe.
I don't like cantaloupe. Cantaloupe
I
tastes
do like
honeydew.
cantaloupe as well.
Do you like mango?
I've only had like one mango, and I didn't like it.
Do you like
it's
fruit?
Fine. I don't know. I can't afford it, so I don't get it very often.
Okay, what's a fruit that you could have afforded and that you had?
Hold on.
Yes, Slug, I will show your Treadnought specifically
Show
to
that
Greg.
Treadnought or I'm gonna cause a riot.
That's okay. I will show it specifically to Greg and Greg only.
What?
Whoa.
Slug is getting into
Oh!
40K and he's 3D printing this.
Mm-hmm.
This looks
It looks
cool,
like
Slug.
Yeah.
what's it called?
The Treadnought.
No, it looks like the classic Redemptor Dreadnoughts, but on a tread.
Oh, see, you know these things. I don't know these things. But
Uh-huh.
yes, chat. It's so nice to have each and every one of you here today. It's been a fun day. I also was doing chores. I had some things to do. We prepped for this stream. I want to give a very special shout out to Sai. Sai helped us. It's a classic dread on dreads. Thank you. That Wolfie person is being sentenced to 10 years. I don't know who Wolfie is. Who's Wolfie?
There's so many Wolfies.
Who is Wolfie? I don't
Wolfie?
know who that is.
Who's Wolfie?
Holy shit.
Who's Wolfie?
Mr. Gamer, you can't tell me a person
Wolfie?
is being sentenced to jail.
Wolfie Coletti.
I don't know what
Who's
that
Wolfie Coletti? Who's
Or
Wolfie
playing
Coletti?
there.
I guess
I'll
I'll.
Who's Wolfie
Google it.
Coletti?
I'll Google it.
He's a TikTok prankster. Okay, I don't care.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
he's on Instagram.
Good.
Alright.
Good and based.
Good.
Good.
I haven't looked into it, but
Good.
good.
Show him
Anyway,
the wall.
anyway.
Show him the wall. Bring back the firing squad. I don't fucking know.
Alright, back to thanking Sai and then
Yes.
why
No,
we're thanking
big
Sai.
shout outs to Sai. Sai gave us a bunch of their own documents, so really big shout outs to her. We did a lot of our own little research here and there. We have a couple different things. Audio clips that for specific reasons I can't pull up on stream for
What are the reasons?
specific reasons, but you should go check them out on your local Discovery, BBC, or Netflix subscription that you may or may not have.
Well, also the ASMR video, which is also pretty.
Did you
close to
use
what it sounds
discounted
like.
carbon fiber to build this stream?
We're going to
Worse.
get to that, Metal Man.
Bubblegum and duct tape.
Hopes
So,
and dreams.
we're going to get to that. But chat, before we begin, you know the deal. You know the goal. If we reach the oh, I forgot to I put it in the chat, but I forgot to did I forget to do the thing
Pin it?
where I
You forgot to pin it.
Yeah,
You
I
forgot
forgot
to pin it.
Chat, you know the goal. If we hit the goal, we hit the thing. All those kinds of things. Yes, the Logitech controller. We get to all of it. So chat, I'm going to take you back to 2023. 2023 is a time. Greg, where were you in 2023?
At home, because I think it was still during the end of COVID.
You were at home.
I think I was at home because of a car accident. You know.
I don't know. Where was I? I don't even know where I was. But chat, where were you in 2023?
Where were you?
Okay.
No, actually, I think the OceanGate thing was before my car accident, so I was at work.
You're driving to work. You're driving to the car accident.
Let me see if I can find what I'm looking
I was at work,
for.
and then I heard about it from Weekly Weird News.
Yeah, Weekly Weird News is like one of the first things that I saw with it. But let's go.
That's what. Let's go.
Let's go back. So
Let's
chat,
go back.
let's go back.
Let's go back.
What's that? I don't remember who that was. But chat, I want
It's
to take you back
iDubbbz.
to
What we do here
Oh,
is
was
go
it?
back.
Yes,
back.
yes. It was iDubbbz. Chat. Let me take you back. Oh God, they're so big.
Take me back. Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
take you
She
back
said.
to 2 years ago when the OceanGate submersible was first missing. Now, chat, you may be asking me, Falgi, you're talking about a weird current event like true crime story. What do you mean? Well, for those who don't know, OceanGate Inc. is a now somewhat defunct company. They still do run, or they still do exist. Not necessarily running. They've ceased operations after 2020, after the accident in 2023, to which I personally will not call it an accident.
You just did. You should have called it incident.
I will. It's an incident, not an accident.
That's
there's
why we don't call car crashes car accidents, because that implies nobody's at fault.
But yes, obviously, in 2023, the submersible went to the bottom towards the Titanic and went missing for a period of days, where they would potentially try to find the individuals inside of the submersible, aka known as Titan. One of the big things, and we will talk about it, there are 5 deaths. We will not be... I will try my best not to make light of the deaths, specifically the father and son. And I want to make that very, very clear. From everything that I understand, the father and son and the one aerospace guy, they were just along for the ride. And we'll discuss how that happened, why that happened, how people got into the submersible, a lot of the parts and issues regarding the submersible and everything like that. One of the big things, Stockton Rush, I will say this. Stockton Rush and PH, whatever his name is, are fair game to me.
Nargile.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was it? Nelege?
Nar.
Narge?
Jo. Nar.
Nar?
Jo.
Je?
Le.
Nargile. PH Nargile and Stockton Rush are personally fair game to me, and I will say why. For those who don't know, Stockton Rush was the... so Stockton Rush gets a weird couple different names. We actually have some of the financials regarding OceanGate Incorporated and the OceanGate Foundation, which were 2 separate companies. One was obviously the non-for-profit money-making thing, and the Industries was the for-profit submersible company. Stockton Rush was the co-founder of it. He had another individual that funded it, that opened it with him in, I believe, like 2009, but by 2013, the guy was already gone. And then Diesel IRL, thank you guys so
I thought it
much.
existed in 2001.
What was it?
2001 is when the company started.
Oh, 2001. Excuse me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Diesel, it's so good. Diesel, good news. We can be bees.
Mm.
We can be bees, chat.
Diesel, what are your thoughts on OceanGate? Are you pro or con OceanGate?
Listen.
You have to
listen.
vote on this. It's
It
it's an
is.
election here.
We can be bees, chat. Remember, chat, to like the video, subscribe. Welcome, Diesel Raiders. Welcome to our audience. It's so nice to see you. Remember, you can like and subscribe to the chat today, and we reach the goal. That dog always gets a treat, but you know how it is. But it's interesting to note, to prep for this stream outside of the documents that we have, as well as some of the videos that we're going to be sharing, myself, Ash, Greg, KJ, Cloudy, we all watched two documentaries. There's a Netflix documentary and a Discovery BBC documentary. I will personally say this. I prefer the Netflix documentary, and I will explain the differences if you are going to look at this case. The Netflix documentary deals a little bit more with the different players throughout the years at OceanGate and the creation of the Titan submersible, but there was also a first submersible. So Titan is actually the official name for the second submersible that they made. They made two submersibles, Cyclops 1 and Cyclops 2. Now you may be asking, why is it called Cyclops? It's called Cyclops because one of the big things that Stockton Rush touted was that the porthole, the viewfinder that you would see the ocean floor on, was the largest viewfinder on commercially available submersibles. It was actually like the longest one. And it's really interesting. I still recommend watching both documentaries. The one through the BBC and
I like the
Discovery.
BBC one specifically because they went by each dive and gave you like a timeline that you could
Yes.
follow, and you also got like behind the scenes like footage that, as far as I know, no one knew that. Was it Explorers Unknown?
Yeah, that was like
Right.
an interesting. I was just about to say. I was going to highlight that for a second.
Can we put
Expedition
Bidoffs
Unknown.
in one of these subs and let them implode?
P-Duffs.
Goat Cattle with the 5.
Too expensive.
Too expensive. Honestly, too expensive.
Thank you.
But
I was
thank
gonna say,
you, though.
like,
Just
we
give
were
them
watching
concrete shoes.
The BBC when I was like, oh hey, the Expedition Unknown guy, because he
Mhm,
was a
mhm.
part of the documentary, and I was shocked because my fiance loves that show. He watched it all the time, and then we find out like, oh hey, they were gonna do an OceanGate episode, but scrapped it because the guy was like, yeah, this isn't gonna fly.
Yeah, so I do think it's like a really interesting. If you are an American, if you're an American or a Canadian, that watches like Discovery Channel or the Travel Channel, the host and presenter for a television show called Expedition Unknown actually interviewed Stockton Rush about his submersible. It's very, very interesting because he goes in, sees that it's having all these problems. Greg, you weren't there for this one.
Mm-mm.
He's in the submersible. It's constantly having multiple failures while they're above water. All the
Amazing.
computers shut down. Every time he radios in, the cameras turn off. So you see the screens behind him every time he radios, they all shut down. And then the moment he stops radioing, they turn back on. The controller isn't working. The PS3 Logitech controller no working no more. It is actually insane. And it's, again, I recommend both if you have the ability to. Again, you don't have, like, if you don't have it, you could sail the 7 seas, maybe, you know.
Yeah,
Hi,
you can sail the 7
YouTube,
seas with one of them.
YouTube, but we're not recommending people sail the 7 seas.
Just
It's a boating metaphor.
you don't have to do this. You could just say "see it if you can" and then move on.
Mhm.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's kind of like going back to Fire Festival where there was two documentaries. There was the Netflix documentary
And the
and
Hulu.
the Hulu documentary. One of them was better, but they were actually both good as companion pieces because they
Yes.
actually
Well-
interviewed the
well,
guy who
well-
ran it in the Hulu piece.
Yeah.
Well, the Hulu one was also like produced by some of the Firefest
Fuck
guys,
Jerry,
so that's why.
specifically.
So that's why, like, you kind of want to favor one over the other.
Yeah, specifically for those who don't know, Fire Festival was in collaboration with a meme company called
I
Fuck
think my
Jerry.
fascination with OceanGate just comes from how preventable it all was.
Yes, we will get
Yes,
that.
Yeah.
We will get there. So I think without further ado, let's go to this Fox News report. For those who don't know, it's been almost 2 years. Oh, side note. Yes, Stockton Rush, completely at fault. If you want me to be honest, manslaughter. Like, everything was preventable. All these deaths, including his own, were preventable. They knew that it was faulty. Also, PH, Greg, say his last name again for me. Nargeolet. I do think that PH Nargeolet holds a level of responsibility, as he was very a part of the later half of OceanGate. For those who don't know, PH Nargeolet is a very, very famous Titanic, I guess explorer would be the correct term for it.
Expeditioner. He's the guy. He's
Yeah.
he's the Titanic guy who's alive.
Like,
as in he's
yeah,
the go-to guy for knowledge.
Like, if anything, he is probably the guy James Cameron went to before James Cameron became the guy. Which we do also have a James Cameron interview that I do want to go over, because I think it's really, really interesting. But yeah,
It's kind of interesting. Like, I don't know, like, if anyone else like had like a small like tis a moment when they were younger with like an obsession with the Titanic, because I had as well had the book that basically had like, it was the Titanic, but it was like a bisection
yeah,
of the Titanic that showed everything in it, and I had that book as a kid, and I thought it was pretty cool.
yeah. Well, like, it's really interesting. Like, all of these things, I think it's gonna be. We're gonna go over some of these 60-minute interviews because I think they're really, really interesting. So obviously, what we now know is that the submersible imploded, and there's a bunch of different reasons why a lot of negligence can be pushed and things like that. I want to go over this missing sub, a little bit of this Fox News article. Listen, I know Fox News, whatever you want to say, but it's interesting.
All right, so that's Captain James Frederick of the U.S. Coast Guard taking more questions there. And Sandra, I guess the headline out of this is that those noises that were picked up by the P-3 surveillance plane from Canada yesterday continued into today. They have been recorded. They've been sent to the Navy for analysis.
So they were
you
listening.
Heard the fellow Carl Hartsfield from the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution saying a lot of noises in the water, so they have to be very clear in exactly what they're listening to. But still, holding out hope. Hope against hope.
So
perhaps,
it's really interesting to note. They held on to hope when the submersible sank. It's really important to know that. And there's a specific reason why. I want to point out why I believe and why experts believe, because this is actually in the BBC Discovery joint documentary. The experts actually weigh in, the investigators. So let's listen to a little bit of this, and then I'll explain to you why they truly believed that there was hope that these people were still alive.
Maybe they're still alive in that submersible.
Holding out hope and so many praying for their survival. Tom Maddox is joining us now, underwater forensic investigators CEO. He was also a co-pilot of a submersible that traveled to the wreck of the Titanic back in 2005. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
We'll
If
call
I
it
can,
that.
can
We
I
say
just get your
2005.
reaction
Yeah.
first to what we just
Yeah,
heard
very
there?
weird.
It
Very
does
weird way
sound
of doing
like
it.
the experts are telling them to take these noises seriously and that they could be indeed human generated. What was your takeaway?
Well, good afternoon, John and Sandra. Yes, absolutely. That was really probably the best news that I've heard through the beginning of this whole ordeal. The sounds banging, possible banging on the sub would be the first and best noises we could get to be able to.
Also, to be very real, everybody at this point in the submersible is dead. For those
Yeah.
who don't know, the submersible pops, explodes. It implodes, and everybody is dead. One of the investigators, one of the wreckage investigators, note that they are looking at the pieces of the submersible, and one of the only things left that they could find was burned, seared into one of a shred of metal that is Stockton's shirt cuff with a pen, stickers, for the Titan submersible, like literally like advertising stickers and torn business cards. That is literally the only thing of his body that actually remained. Not bone, not skin, not teeth, nothing. The only thing that remained was literally everything business related about this guy. It is one of the most.
Should have put stickers on his submersible. Probably would have stood me here.
And it's so insane to think about that, because the more you learn about Stockton Rush and the more you learn about how he promoted this submersible, it's so actually, it, as Draftel says, it's poetic. Because this guy, and this is my purest belief, this guy went in pretending to democratize submersible travel, undersea travel. He wanted to be the next Elon Musk. He wanted to be all these things. And really, the metaphor there was he was just like an overzealous grifter. He had a degree. He had an aerospace degree, engineering degree from Princeton. They got a hold of his grades. They weren't that good. But, you know, C's get degrees. He did come from an affluent family who, interestingly enough, if you know anything about the alleged Bohemian Club, his parents were or his family was allegedly a part of that. For those who don't know, Bohemian Club was a rich people society where a lot of people believe that there was a lot of alleged like sex cult shit. Whether you believe that or not, up to you. But it is what it is. Yeah, Starshine, I've had a haircut for a while. You guys just don't see it. Which is very, very weird. So like there's a lot of things to Stockton Rush that already kind of give like a bunch of red flags of this guy just being like a rich kid with just a lot of money to spend. In financial reports that we were able to God damn it, Metal Man, with the holy shit, Metal Man!
Go fast, break stuff, get imploded.
Yes!
Feed dog.
Feed dog! Yes, everybody, it's time to feed that dog. If this is your first time here at the OpBlock stream, we do something special every time we hit a goal. We feed that dog a treat. And we sing a very special song. It's time to feed the puppers. It's time to give her treats. It's time to feed the dog now. On the OpBlock stream tonight. Yes, everybody, it's time to feed that dog. There you go, girl. Come here. Come on. Good girl. Look at her go, chat. You fed that. Metal Man, you are Leia's current favorite chatter. If you want to usurp Metal Man as Leia's current favorite chatter, all you have to do is be the last person to tip. Whoever's the last person to get to 10 is Leia's favorite chatter. I know we need a Leia emote. I have a couple of emotes that I need to upload. I have an Ash emote I need to upload. I have a Leia emote I need to upload. It's been a little bit. I have to update them. But yeah, this guy really wanted to be, back to the point, Stockton Rush really wanted to be the Elon Musk of the sea. There's other couple like interesting things for those who don't know. The submersible was made from carbon fiber. Now, for those who don't know what carbon fiber is essentially woven strands of carbon. Now, carbon is very hard.
What boats are made of, right?
Yes, it's what boats. Boats are fiberglass. Boats, I believe, boats are fiberglass. Planes, some plane parts are carbon fiber in conjunction with metal sheets and things like that. So, because this is an interesting point, when in the creation of the submersible, when they started creating it with the University of Washington, which is a little bit outside of Seattle, when they started creating that, they actually did it in conjunction with the engineering department as well as Boeing. Yes, that Boeing, the Boeing of which all of their whistleblowers who say, hey, we aren't suicidal. The whistleblowers that are like, listen, if we die at what we didn't kill ourselves, all magically die of suicide. You know, that company with those whistleblowers. But very interestingly, during the process of the development of it, Ash, do you have that? Did you send me that picture?
Picture of what?
The specific picture of the the shredded thing. Do we have that picture? I know you said that you were gonna send it to me, or you were gonna make a copy of it.
No.
Remember,
Yeah,
it was
you want me to...
the sheared thing.
I don't think we talked about a picture. I can go.
Well,
grab
did
it
you
real
have
quick.
you
We'll
have the
locate
original
this-
pop, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
The test pop. I'll pop it on stream.
Sub. No salvage can happen until we locate the sub or till
So
they
again,
locate the sub.
They
Obviously.
believe
So yesterday when
that
I
everybody's
heard the
alive.
report
Everybody
about the
is alive.
noises, and we did
But
hear
important to note, Boeing pulled out in the development phase of the first Cyclops, because again, there were 2 submersibles. In the development phase, Boeing pulled funding saying, hey, I know we're giving you like refurbished carbon fiber hull pieces. We're pulling out. This thing's not passing. This thing isn't working. We need to pull the hell out. Isn't Kevlar carbon fiber? I actually don't know that much about.
I don't know.
Yeah, when Boeing pulls out, it's actually super bad. It's actually kind of crazy. So yes, Boeing pulls out, and like, let's not do this anymore. And Stockton Rush is like, no, we're still doing this. We're just gonna make it on our own, and takes all of the engineers that he hired, as well as a crap ton of just graduated student engineers to make this. And we're going to talk about why the carbon fiber matters a lot. Yes, Boeing does have a pullout game. It's crazy.
and the Coast Guard referred to the 30-minute interval. That was extremely hopeful. Today, they're not so clear about whether there are intervals or not. But the good news is that they heard them again today. So that's probably the brightest spot and the best news to come out of this whole situation since its beginning.
So, Tom, if we're looking at what the source of those noises might be,
Hey, Lord Rush,
let's
thank you for the
just
333,
suppose-
buddy.
Lord Rush tips
Thank
$3.33. This stream will be very confusing for me. He's literally Rush from Washington. It's not fair.
I mean, don't be rushed from Washington. I don't know what to tell you. Yes, all the red flags were there. It's also important to note something. So you see on the screen that they sailed from the Isle of Newfoundland, even though these were all Americans. Now, let's discuss that a little bit. Stockton Rush went to another country to cast off. Why is that important? So, for submersibles to be able to go... Oh, Kellosaurus, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you. You haven't subscribed and done the doobly-doo stuff yet. Let's do it. Looser laws? No. International waters matters. So, for any submersible, you have to get what is known as classed. Now, I learned what the classing process is. Thank you, the 2 documentaries. So, getting classed is short for getting classified, or not classified. It's something I can't remember exactly.
Like
Classification.
verified.
Classification.
That's-
Excuse me.
yeah.
So, what that means is when you get classed, you get classified. You get classification for the specific depth that your submersible can go to. So, if you don't have the specific depth, your submersible can't go. Like, for instance, to go down to the Titanic, they had to go down 4,000 feet. This submersible barely ever hit that. The tests they would always do would end about 90% of the way down. And so really, anytime they would actually make it to the Titanic, it was a ticking time bomb. This thing, again, it was the second of 2 submersibles that exploded because the first one cracked. The first one fucking cracked.
Oh, here's I'll give you a screenshot of the first one where they had to shave away.
Yes, thank you.
Here, I had a scrub for that.
Thank you, I apologize about that.
Let's get Leia another treat.
Thank you, Philosopher. Thank you. Who will be Leia's new favorite chatter is up to you. So, if you could see in here, this is the inside of the hull. So you see this spot right here. There was a crack that extended through the hull that they had to shave away and dismantle in an attempt to redo it, to fix it. It's insane. Right? So the reason I pull this whole thing up is because they believe, because nobody really understands what this submersible is. Nobody really understands a lot about, oh, it went down, but the carbon fiber, it must have just been fine. It just had an accident. And I remember when this happened, a lot of people were like, oh, rich people dead on the internet? God, who cares? And honestly speaking, yeah, you can be like, you know what? People lost their lives, but they're rich. I personally don't believe that. I think that it was, listen, you could have had a tee-hee ha-ha about it, but remember, these are people's like real family members and real lives, and the other people involved were just consumers. And we'll talk about how Stockton Rush got around the consumerism, because they would sign a waiver, and there was a whole big thing. It's also the reason why getting classed, they avoided it. Now, to understand what is so daunting and scary about this submersible, I want to play you guys a noise. Now, it has to be through Discord for reasons I cannot say. Did you get the one from their test, Ash?
Okay, so one second. The first one is the bang when they're doing their test.
Okay. So this is the noise it makes when Boeing pulls out.
Hear it creaking and cracking.
Oh, shush.
You don't actually
Shush. No.
when it's going to snap.
Just give it a sec.
If you hear that noise, I'm going to play that noise for you again.
I would say that was it.
That is the noise of it depressurizing and exploding. You know the little porthole pop that I showed you guys? No, it's not a crushed cola can, because here's what happens. It doesn't crush. It expands. Because here's the thing, and shout outs to KJ, because I don't know these things, but KJ, very, very smart individual. His autism is strong, and he's my strongest soldier from time to time. Carbon fiber is not made to deal with positive pressure. It's made to deal with negative pressure. What does that mean? What that means, chat, is that the carbon fiber can deal with the outside pressure. Know what it can't deal with? The exertion of inside pressure. So when both pressures are pushing on each other, the carbon fiber technically is not made for that. So here's what actually happens. The bulb of the submersible, which is the porthole, pops open. It forays, and you literally see strands of carbon fiber. And again, the way it looks like a dense material, don't get me wrong, but you can see it fray and strands all over the place. And it just explodes. Or implodes, excuse me. Yes, for those who don't know, the implosion is an instantaneous thing. By every account from every single expert in every documentary that we watched and every article that I could read up on this, these 5 individuals did not suffer. They're probably scared out of their mind. It's very, very sad, but they hopefully just didn't suffer, because they would literally just be vaporized. Because to be placed in the submersible, they have to lock it in place. And here's a fun part. They locked it in place, and KJ pointed this out to me. Correction, Fauci, it can handle the pressure from the inside. It's not meant to be compressed from positive pressure of the ocean pushing on it, the positive pressure of the sub. Thank you. That's the other way around. Thank you. Yes, so it's inside pressure it can do, outside pressure no good. It can't handle double the pressure. Thank you for the correction. Again, this is why I have KJ around, because this is KJ's fun specialties. I don't know these things. Sai with the 5. Absolutely correct, Sai.
Carbon fiber is in the name, it's woven, it's not one solid material.
Yep.
The layers will come apart from each other with too much pressure.
Do we know if the sub would have made rumbling noises before it imploded? Midge-matic? I'm really
Well.
sad that you asked. I'm going to show you something very interesting. Stockton Rush and his team made a system that actually functioned. So what Stockton and his team made was a acoustics. I think it was called the Punyet system, if I remember correctly. The pun. I can't remember what it was specifically called. But they made a series of hypersensitive microphones inside of the submersible to hear the strands breaking and expanding and shearing, or was as they would term it, delaminating. That system was not only like considered revolutionary, it worked. Stockton Rush ignored it. I'm gonna play you the sound right now of probably one of the last sounds those people actually heard. Here, you want to know what horror feels like? Do you want to know what actually like haunts my dreams?
Unbelievable. 39, 38 meters, Dana.
It's about 10 minutes. That's what 10 minutes. It's over there.
If you hear all that popping, that is the strands coming apart. Again, have to take my word for it. That is the strands coming up. We do have another one. I'm gonna play this one as well.
Got that on the microphone.
I gotta be careful because this is
Quite getting pops.
So you hear that attention getting pops. Stockton Rush is completely aware of this being a problem. When you hear the pops, it's a bad time. Now you may be asking yourself then, if everyone on the inside knew that this thing was likely to implode, why didn't they say anything when people are searching for them? I'll tell you why. So the experts believe something very interesting, and shout out to Sai for putting this in her document. Very cool, very based. So Drama Alert put this out. This is also in a BBC article. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Thank you. Thing for doing that.
The noises got to me the most in the documentary.
Yeah.
That was the hull delaminating in real time.
Yes. That is literally delaminating in real time. It's actually insane.
I wonder if it's possible some Newfoundlander found a bit of metal off the coast and doesn't know they're holding the Calvin and Hobbes are submarine.
Not likely.
Not likely. It was so far down at that point.
So far down. I think they recovered the biggest pieces.
Yes. So they recovered the cap.
Another thing is that like all that carbon fiber basically turned to sludge once it imploded, and it was like
because under the
because
under the heat. Under the heat as well, it turned to sludge. The only metal bits that existed were actually just the metal that would have been in the hub. So very important to note, you see this right here. This was the front of the submersible. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse because of the way it is.
Yeah, I see.
No, I don't know if chat can.
No,
so chat.
So it's like the little gray part.
The gray part is the front of the submersible. Heat in that deep. Lex, you have to understand that pressure creates kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is released as heat. So implosions cause heat. That is why their bodies were vaporized. Because kinetic energy turns into heat. You have your endothermic and your exothermic reactions. This is like physics and stuff like that and thermodynamics. It's actually insane. Yes. We do have the Scottish guy. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And actually where I find a bunch of different faults everywhere. I don't know what to do. Thank you, dude.
Moral of the story. Physics always wins.
Physics does always win. So I want to highlight this. This is the front of the submersible, the gray part. Now, and Sai would know this, and if you watch Sai's stream, she probably explained this to you. In the BBC Discovery documentary, it was like a joint venture, you actually see that fall off right before they go into a launch. And why? This front part is supposed to be set up for 18 bolts. However, in their infinite wisdom, they thought, well, when we get down to that depth, that shouldn't matter because the depth is going to pressurize the hull anyways. So why do we need to put in all 18 bolts?
Also, how they chose to torque those bolts, quote unquote.
Yes, as Middleman says, they only used 4. But what's really interesting, and KJ pointed this out, it's the type of wrench they used. They weren't using a torque wrench, which would have been the standard procedure for something like this, at the very least, which would have made all of the bolts evenly distributed, and it would have prevented any stripping of the bolts, which we don't know. Stripping or sharing of the bolts while they were using them, we have no idea if that happened. They were holding it together and using like a regular crank, specifically made for that type of bolt, but a regular crank to put it in. There was nothing that would have shown the usage of a torque wrench that would have fastened that into place. But that would be smart, and we can't have that. I think the old sub had stripped bolts. Yeah, this is where it gets a little weird because there are literal things we don't know. Even though the investigation has a lot of insider information, the Netflix documentary, one of the big draws, I believe, for the Netflix documentary over parts of the BBC documentary, which I do think the BBC documentary is actually really important still, though. They are very much companion pieces. You do see more of the individuals who are on the inside of OceanGate, and the multiple people who were fired, let go, people at the top who were let go or fired or left, and it's really, really crazy. This is Icarus. This was a man's Icarus, all the way down to the fiery implosion. This guy truly thought that he was going to make it, that he was going to make so much money off of this. What we do know a little bit about the finances of OceanGate is, I believe, there was like 190 million, from what I remember off the top of my head.
I don't get how these
million.
people could underestimate the deep ocean this much.
Well, this is where it gets tricky, right? This is where it gets really, really tricky. They respected it and didn't respect it at the same time. What they didn't respect was the legality for it. And that's where it becomes like a really big issue, in my opinion. We could talk about, in my opinion, some of the failures of the classing system, the fact that they were even able to go down. I said this in a call today when we were discussing it privately. I think there's a big failure of logistics and bureaucracy when it came to this, because they should never have been able to own a dry dock at all. They shouldn't have been able to do any manned submersions. They shouldn't have been able to do any of this. Regardless of whatever country they were in, this should never have been possible, ever. Because essentially, they were still in the testing phase when they were bringing people down for actual paid trips. People were paying to get into this thing. And sometimes it just flat out wouldn't work. Sometimes if the weather was too bad, they couldn't go down, which is fair. But other times, there'd be straight up mechanical malfunctions. Thank you. There were straight up mechanical malfunctions, like the fucking Ouya controller dying. Yes, chat, if you haven't seen it, it's a fucking Logitech controller, which Sai gave us. I am going to show it off. It looks like an Ouya controller. I'm pretty sure this motherfucker was ran on Ouyas. And for those who don't know, the Ouya is a very, very short-lived console from the late aughts to the later aughts, early 10s, that was supposed to be the first always online Steam type console, and it just never worked, never took off, died within the year. I wish I owned one. The hand to God, I wish I did. But like, that's what this thing was like fucking built on at this point, because nothing worked.
Like trying to get a ride on the sub was kind of like a timeshare. almost.
Mhm.
Or if you couldn't go this time, you can just try it next time.
Yes. You would never get a refund. It's very so two things. You never got a refund, and to avoid a lot of the legal loopholes that they would have had to go through, each person who paid to be on the submersible was actually crew members. They would call themselves mission specialists. They were never called consumers, regardless of the fact that they were paying to be on the submersible. They never called them consumers once to avoid legal repercussions.
It's the grisly man of Lost at Sea stories.
Yes, 100%. So, all of that preamble and all of that kind of, going off the hinges, because, it's the Op Block stream. I got to give you guys a lot of just lore to get where we are. Yes, he also did so much to dodge United States and international law, an insane amount. Here, I want to give you why people thought that the crew was still alive right now. For reference, this is John Stockton. This is Stockton. I called him John Stockton. This is Stockton Rush's wife and treasurer of OceanGate. Now, Stockton at one time went from co-founder to treasurer. He was not on the board. There's a lot of insider reports from the people who worked with Stockton that called him like a charismatic sociopath. Like he was constantly selling the idea of democratizing deep sea exploration. He wanted to give it to the masses or to the richest people. It would have really just been the richest people in the world. But here's the craziest thing. Stockton Rush would constantly in private meetings being like, oh, I would just pay a congressman off. I could just spend $50 million to ruin a guy. Why not? Doesn't that sound great? Anybody who ever spoke out, and we will get to the Scottish gentleman in a little bit. Anyone who ever spoke out against Rush was immediately silenced. Multiple staff members left. It's insane. So this is his wife. Let's watch this for a second.
100 meters to go.
Yeah. It should be about 500 meters, 30.
Did you catch that, chat? Let me play it a little bit louder for you to hear.
Run it back a little bit.
Let me run it back a little bit, chat. Let's run it back. Let me hear something.
Yeah, it should be about 500 meters, 30.
After 500 meters, let's hear it again.
Yeah, it should be about 500 meters, 30.
That click, that pop, that is it explode. That is it imploding.
When you're done with the stream, the outro needs to be My Dumb Stepdad by Sync 182.
Sure. That pop is it imploding. And there's an important reason why that matters. Something rich people. Okay. Claudia, you weren't here for the preamble. I will say this. The child, the dad, and the other aerospace guy are legit casualties. By all means, from what the documentaries point to, especially the Netflix one that goes into more about pH, those people did not know about all of these failures. Everyone was always told this thing was supposed to work because it took other people. This wasn't like, that's one of the things that is crazy. This wasn't its maiden voyage. It had taken other people down. It just didn't kill them. Which is insane. But again, let's hear it one more time so everyone can hear that pop.
Yeah, it should be about 500 meters, 30.
That pop is the sound of all 5 individuals on the Titan dying. That is the final thing. That thing implodes. Now, it's very important to know why why it matters. If Russia died, I'd have been a lot mean. If Russia had only died, I'd be a lot meaner on my stream. Yeah, I would agree with that. I'll still be mean. This is manslaughter. In my opinion, this is manslaughter. Yeah, it sounds like a muted boom because they're at this point up almost 4,000 feet under the ocean. They're like they're almost there. And there's other things I should mention. We'll talk about Stockton Rush and his piloting skills in a little bit, and why Lockridge actually left, who was one of the originally the director of the marine operations, which wouldn't mean that he was the main pilot, and we'll discuss why. So look at their faces for a second.
What was that thing? Drop 2 weights. Titan, drop 2 weights.
Now, here's something very interesting. The reason that they would have thought that they were alive is because that pop and the signal they just received are desynced because of the actual speed of travel. The speed of sound comparatively to the radio waves going through. Because the radio waves traveled slower in the water. Now, this is literally in the BBC documentary. The experts who investigated this matter state that this is their truest belief on the on why there was still hope for them. Yes, we will get there.
Was still 8 hours until they reported it missing.
And yes, it was 8 hours till they reported it missing because they did not know if they just lost signal. And we'll get there. The boom even muffled underwater. If it were under the water, you would have been felt miles away. Yes, so let's talk about that. Because the speed of sound is faster than the speed of the radio waves that were traveling to send this signal back up, this like Wi-Fi signal or however they do it. They believed that they were alive. In expert opinion. They believe that the crew believes that they are still alive because that instruction comes after the boom. They don't know why the boom happens at this point. Maybe some people know. Maybe some people believe it. It was very well known internally that this thing was risking it. Very, very well known. Insider reports, investigation, everybody knew this thing was a ticking time bomb. No one wanted to admit it because of the fact that, yes, Canada picked it up. No one wanted to admit it because of the fact that Stockton Rush said, we are doing this regardless of what you say.
Yeah, they didn't want to get fired because it was during COVID as well. So that's the other person brought up the Netflix documentary. It's COVID, and a lot of people were like losing their jobs, and a lot of people.
Yep. A lot of people stayed in the beginning, yes. A lot of people stayed in the beginning because they did not want to lose their jobs. But later, they just didn't want to say, they didn't want to leave because they were afraid of him. Again, let's listen to a little bit more of what they do.
Copy, Titan, drop 2 weight.
He meant to go down fairly light. I think that's exactly what happened.
Dog.
Thank you. Oh God! Lord Rush! Lord Rush, you are Leia's new favorite chatter. Let's go, chat. Let's go. It's time to hit another goal. It's time to set another goal. It's time to feed the puppers. It's time to give her treats. It's time to feed the dog now on the Uplock stream tonight. Yes, everybody, it's time to feed that dog. Go, girl. Come on. Look at her. Look at her go, chat. If you want to feed that dog, you know what to do. If you want to usurp Lord Rush as the top chatter of the night, you know what to do. She's waiting for you, chat. She says, who's going to be my new favorite chatter? Who's going to be my new favorite chatter? You know what to do, chat. You know what to do. And again, getting back to this, they're like, what is happening? What's wrong?
Wingstack, platform.
Go ahead, platform.
We're going to diver 419. Please dive equipment checklist. There's a line that says spare experts, more than 5 available.
At this point, they don't know what's happening.
Say again.
Right here.
Repeat last.
Diver 419, please dive equipment checklist. A line says, spare deck bricks, more than 5 available. The platform was light, therefore we need more bricks here, correct?
Negative.
So they don't know what's happening, right? Like, you could tell that they're operating under the idea that everything is cool and everything is safe. But it's not. Currently, it is not safe. It is not okay. Now, let's rewind a little bit. Let's talk about how people would love to get on this submersible. Luckily, thanks to Sai, I have a promotional video for you guys.
OceanGate Expeditions offers you the once in...
Let's watch a little bit about OceanGate, chat.
OceanGate Expeditions offers you the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be a specially trained crew member safely diving to the Titanic wreckage site.
Thank you, Metalman.
How rich do you have to be to throw down on this?
Oh, a lot of money. It was like hundreds of thousands of dollars. The other reason they didn't stop looking until they found debris is because they needed to be sure they stopped before they stopped looking. Yes, I know from the debris point of view. They did math calculations on if, for instance, if the people survived in the submersible, how many hours of oxygen they would have had.
Get ready for what Jules Verne could only imagine. A 12,500-foot journey to the bottom of the sea.
Oh my god!
It's the OceanGate Titanic experience.
It's so fucking... Oh my god, this is so insane knowing these people died. I've said this. We were discussing this. We were discussing this privately. 250K per ticket. Thank you, Killjoy. We were discussing this privately. I think the only way SpaceX would shut down is if they had a exploded manned rocket. That's why a lot of their stuff is unmanned. Because if they have an exploded manned rocket, that launches a full crazy investigation. And that would be like the end of SpaceX as you know it.
Yeah,
Mau Square, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Good to see you. By the way, this is not reflected in the 501c. Curious, yes, because there's a foundation and the company. I wonder if there was some, I don't know, would you say charity fraud? There was charity fraud. Chat.
It ain't so.
Chat, say it ain't so. Oh, oh. I launder your money.
Earning raves from those who've taken our unforgettable dives.
There's no other trip like this. Fewer people have been to Titanic than have been to space.
It's tougher to go to the bottom of the ocean than it is to the far side of the moon. So we saw things that maybe human eyes have never seen before.
Insane. Yeah, yeah, sure. Also, I'll say this, hot take. Going to the Titanic is stupid. I don't really care about the Titanic that much. It's a graveyard. It feels really weird to just go and be like, you know what we haven't seen? This graveyard. You know, a lot of people haven't seen this graveyard. We should definitely commodify this graveyard. It's not like moral flagging at all. It's just weird. It's just legitimately weird. Yes, Titanic experienced in more ways than one. Cal, good to see you. I haven't seen you in a little bit.
This is not a thrill ride for tourists. It's much more. It is an 8-day, one-of-a-kind experience. You will be trained as a mission specialist and record valuable findings.
A citizen scientist is also involved in the science.
A citizen scientist is the most insane thing.
Did you mention that aspect of
Yes,
it,
I
that you
did,
have to be contracted?
Yes,
Yeah.
you had to sign a contract and you worked as a gig worker, essentially. That is how they circumvented consumer laws. They treated you as a gig worker so you can go with them. It's like it's a pure level of insanity I cannot explain.
They are doing jobs that are essential.
Baton Rouge has a grand tourism thing. Here's the thing with Louisiana versus something like this. I did work in citizen science. This is not citizen science. Drabble Geek, can you explain what that is, actually? I was about to say, this is actually like a point of order. Because Anne and somebody else that brought up about like going to graveyards. There's a little bit of a different thing regarding going to like historic graveyards and grave sites and even like battlegrounds. The Titanic is a weird thing to go to, in my personal opinion, because it's like, it's a tragedy. You aren't, yeah, it's a tragedy.
It's also dangerous to travel there.
Yeah.
It's not like people live near the area. It's literally out. It's underwater in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, like okay. Well, here's like a really like I hate to say this, but here's like a thing, right? It's not like you go to Hiroshima and Nagasaki and they memorialize where the bomb fell. Like this is a sudden and incredibly sad tragedy, and people just commodify it. What's crazy is like James Cameron, who has now become the guy for the Titanic, doesn't actually like even he's like afraid of the water with it. Rags, hey Rags, what's going on? I was actually at the Titanic Museum in Branson. Very impressive museum. They added a memorial to the OceanGate victims at the end of the museum.
I mean, they're the next victims.
Yeah, they're a part of the mythos. We will get to that. Apparently, there is a book coming out related to Stockton Rush. It's a former best friend who quotes Rush saying that he always wished to die at the Titanic so he could be a part of the mythos of it.
Oh my god!
I want to.
Glass onion.
I want to respond specifically to Axe. I blame the movie for creating this vision of it being romantic. People have always like had this feeling over the Titanic since it happened.
Yeah.
People have always had like infatuations with it. Romantic because there's a story associated with it now, blah blah blah. But like people have always been fascinated with it. It wasn't just the movie.
Yeah. And again, like, I just personally find it weird. Not necessarily, like, museums dedicated to it or, like, historical cult. Like, I have, I went to a college with a guy whose entire job is taking people to famous battlegrounds in New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut. He is a legit historian. That is different than Stockton Rush, who literally just wanted to be a tech bro, but for deep sea exploration. It's crazy. It's just very weird. That's actually kind of based. It's kind of based, Rags. I'm really interested in that.
You know, if you want to see it, you can charter a voyage down to see it personally. If you're
Not
that
the
interested
fucking
in the
actual
Titanic.
thing. I'm at the museum. The museum sounds interesting. Not the fucking. Fuck you. Much of the museum wasn't about the disaster aspect, but the history of the Titanic and the Olympics construction, the history of the culture of the time and the ship itself. That's what I was kind of assuming it would be, like very much the culture of the time of like that kind of ship, which I do. That's so interesting to me like, again, I think there's a, like, James Cameron, very good director. I shit on the Avatar movies because I do think they're bad, but good on him, I guess. I will say this. The set design really did a good job of explaining what those kinds of ships would have looked like and what it is. And that sounds like a very solid museum experience. I love museums. I love art galleries, museums, and things like that. I definitely would go if I was over there. Wasn't the Titanic lauded as the hugest cruise ship at the time or something like that? Yes. From what I remember about it, it was supposed to be the largest cruise ship, or it was supposed to be like a cruise ship that would have gone like the furthest at the time. I can't remember specifically. Yeah, cruise ships have like weird historical presence. Look up the Lusitania. That's a fun one for you. That definitely didn't start a world war or anything, or start a specific country's involvement in the world war. I made coffee earlier today. Mana Potion Coffee. You can buy your coffee today at Mana Potion Coffee. Hey, if you're a sponsor, email me at falgiexe@gmail.com. I will do the best sponsored ad reads you fucking will ever dream of. I will sing. I will make you a jingle. I will give you the best sponsored ad read in the business.
Best blowy in the business.
Is this your ad read with the F word spewed across
No,
it?
I won't use the F word. I will give you a full
that in the
script.
ad.
I think the Titanic was technically measured by 3 inches longer than its sister ship. Same plans, and that's how accurate they were building it in the pair. Yes, I did know that it had a sister ship and everything. That's super interesting, though. Let's go.
Scientific research, not just busy work. We are looking at the process of degradation at the site. We are trying to make a really good map of the site and its current state.
This is not tourism. You're contributing.
It's not a ride at Disney, you know. There's a lot of real risk involved, and there's a lot of challenges.
We partnered with aerospace experts at the University of Washington, NASA, and Boeing on.
Here's the crazy part. All these people pulled the fuck out. All these people pulled out. This dude was lying. This dude was lying. All of these people pulled out. They all said we don't want to be a part of this anymore. That's what's insane.
On the design of our hull.
Every time you take to the sea, there's so many things that have to.
Technically, I sponsored you. Welcome to Blute Crate.
Thank you, Blue Yokai. Thank you, friend. Yes, you sponsor us. Yes, technically, chat, you sponsor us. You sponsor. Where'd she go? You sponsor that child. You can't see her because of where the thing is. Getting treats. Boeing knows a compromised hull when they see one. You are right, Killjoy.
Go right. All the electrical systems and navigation systems that have to check out. This is a very complex vehicle.
Tighten topside. You are.
I love how they show the stuff on the boat, but not the PS3 controller on the submersible. That's insane.
At 130 meters, we are in position for the dive.
It's very well engineered and very safe, and the team is very focused on safety first.
The communication is really key, I think, knowing that they never lost communication.
Yes.
The
Equestrian
unknown guy actually brought up the fact in the BBC documentary that they did not have safety operations to they didn't know the time it took to bring the sub from underwater above water and how long it took to unbolt
to get on the dry dock.
Yeah, they didn't have a reading of that.
Yes. As a part of classing, what it was supposed to do, they were supposed to have a launch to deboard time brief, because that actually determines how safety can go out. Because here's the thing, for those who don't know, very, very interesting. Didn't Rush fire the safety guy? We'll get there. For those who don't know, you know that porthole I was telling you guys about? The biggest thing that you'd see, the thing that we talked about wasn't managed safely, that fell off at one time, was the only way that they were stuck into the submersible, was the only thing that kept them safe. That's the only way they could get in and out of the submersible. There was no emergency exit. There's no porthole that is outside of that they would have entered for easy entrance and exit, which other submersibles have. That is the only way to get in and out of it. So let's say you're running out of air. Let's say you run out of air. You have to pray that these people strip the bolts fast enough for you to get out of it. At that point, you want the fucking thing to implode, so the fucking thing pops off or the cap pops off. Because that's the only way. And everyone was like, huh, that's a really stupid idea. It's bolted from the outside and there's no really emergency valve if you guys are suffering and you guys get stranded somewhere. Huh, weird. What if you guys are majorly off course and breach and there's nobody there and there's nothing you can do? Well,
Yeah, I
fun
believe
fact, you can't even breathe.
David brought up the fact that it was very odd that there was no
Yes.
way for the people inside to get out on their own.
Yes. Yes. And again, that's something that's not brought up in the Netflix documentary, because the Netflix documentary is much more focused on its construction and the multiple failures. Because here's a fun fact for you. There were 2 of the Cyclops submersibles. They were called Cyclops. Cyclops 1, Cyclops 2, Cyclops 2 then gets renamed to Titan. So it can be like, oh, hey, look, it's the Titan and the Titanic, blah, 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 blah. This submersible, they broke the first hull. The first hull broke. After 39 dives, it broke. But here's the little tricky thing Stockton would do. He'd be like, no, we have 59 successful test dives. Why would he say that? Because he would combine the test dives for both hulls. He combined the test dives for the 2 submersibles into 1 submersible, and he wouldn't tell anybody about it. We'll talk about some of the... Where's my local Newfie in chat? Lunar Moon Tea, where are you? Where's my local Newfie in chat? Because you're gonna hear some things that are crazy. Where's my local Newfie?
Not 1 second of me experiencing anything from OceanGate have I ever felt unsafe.
As I pointed out
That's
on the bridge earlier,
insane.
your safety plans all around the vessel.
Yes, Lunar Moon Tea is our local Newfie. There's a reason why that matters later.
All mission specialists get to dive down to the Titanic, but the full experience entails much more. It begins with boarding day in picturesque
Oh my
St.
God,
John's.
I don't care, St. John's. So you see all this. They do all the stuff where they I believe this guy, not this one.
But you don't feel it.
So it's your big day.
It is my big day.
How you
think
feeling?
This guy, is it Darren or is it the
To
another
softly
one?
land like that with just a
Yes.
little puff of debris was movie-like. It was sort of...
I think it's Daryl Parsons that gets interviewed in the BBC doc, if I remember correctly.
Oh, it's hard. There's so many fucking people.
I know, there's so many people. Yeah, risk analysis. They didn't do a good job, chat. You'd be surprised how bad they were.
dramatic in front of me playing out, and it was breathtaking. So it's very emotional.
For mission specialists not aboard the Titan sub, there's a full calendar of things to do.
Look, chat. You can clean it. You can lube it.
Lectures, screenings, tours of the ship's vast...
You can learn about the ship and not die. Isn't that great, chat? You too can learn about the ship and not die. You don't have to worry about it. You can learn about the Titanic Historical Society. Look, chat. You could just become a mission specialist and never lose your life. But yes, chat, let's talk about the submersible itself and everything in between. Let me get the pictures up so I can grab it for you. So let's look at the general layout of the submersible. Again, special shout outs to everybody's best friend in the world, your favorite lesbian and mine, Sai. Thank you so much, Sai. So let's talk about a little bit about the submersible and its construction. So, the composite material was carbon fiber. Now, we talked about why carbon fiber has a bunch of different issues, but one of the really big issues that the problem with carbon fiber is it is still somewhat a porous material. And we'll get to why that matters in the storing of the vehicle in Newfoundland. So, carbon fiber hull. Composite material was fundamentally flawed. You guys heard the pops. I will play the pops for anyone who's new in chat, who came in later. Rags, if you're still here, buddy, I'll play this popping noise for you. This is like the last thing these people ever heard. That popping noise? That popping noise right there? That is the carbon fiber. I'll play it again. That is the carbon fiber delaminating and breaking apart due to pressure. And here's the other thing that you guys wouldn't know. It was the changes in pressure too. It wasn't just going down. It was coming back up. And they had like a acoustic system. And all you would see is a line of pink. Because guess what, motherfuckers? It was constantly breaking.
Oh.
It was like, and it wasn't pops of the hull readjusting, for instance. For those who don't know, some hulls are made with like titanium or like other alloys that are, it would implode faster than sound, right? Would they even have had a chance to hear anything? So here's the thing. What is theorized, because it would constantly pop, they probably heard the popping. Only Stockton and PH, Greg, say his last name for me again. Nargeolet, thank you. Probably PH Nargeolet and Stockton Rush were the only people who knew what the popping noise actually was. Maybe the guy who was the aerospace dude also knew, but the father and son that went down wouldn't have known, in my opinion. They would have heard the popping sound on the way down, and probably they were reassured, you know what, this is normal, it does this all the time. And then
it did do it all the time.
Because it did it all the time. It was only a matter of time till this thing imploded. It then implodes, and a boom is heard topside. After the boom is heard topside, for those who remember, a radio signal then goes through to drop weights. So they also believe they are still alive because they received a radio signal after the boom. And that's what the experts theorized. The ones who investigated this, the ones who did the forensic analysis of the submersible, that is what they believe took place. Again, recommend the Netflix and the BBC documentary in conjunction. This is just a small like stream introduction thing. But again, look at this. For those who don't know, they were just sitting here like this. Screens right here that they could see, a porthole right here. This was the only entrance and exit out of the submersible itself. Insane. They refused to pay for manufacturer to meet the required depth. So again, when I say that they were not classed, what I'm saying is that they were not classified to go to the depth that was required, which was approximately 4,300 feet below sea level, to even see it. And the wreck is about like 1,200 feet. Op block. So yeah, Stockton probably heard the pop that unnerved him, and he tried to drop the weight, changing the pressure so he could have allowed it to unzip. Yeah, but the problem was that doesn't really matter. The viewpoint is goddamn acrylic. I don't know what the viewpoint was made out of.
What's worse?
No, it was titanium,
the pop
I
or the
believe.
sonic drowning tube?
No, the cap. Like the physical
No,
cap.
titanium,
I don't.
believe.
No. The physical.
The viewport, you mean?
The viewport. The
Yeah,
actual.
viewport,
The
I believe
glass.
They said titanium. Oh, the
No,
glass?
you have
I
to
don't
see
know the
through it.
glass.
Yeah.
Yes, the see-through thing.
I don't know.
Is what they're asking. I assume it's maybe some form of deep sea acrylic. Who the hell knows? It says acrylic. Oh yeah, it does. It does say acrylic. Jesus Christ.
Okay.
What's
My
worse, the
bad.
pop or the sonic drowning tune? The pop. The pop, I hear it. Like I heard it in my dreams last night, like straight up. Again, I'm not overly sensitive to this shit. I'm still gonna make fun of these guys. Or well, specifically Stockton Rush, not really the other people in the submersible. But like, it's actually kind of insane. Brother, look at the screen. Mitch Maddock, leave me alone. I'm a streamer, not a reader.
He can't read. You know this.
I'm the streamer, not the reader.
Not a reader, just a loser.
Yes, I know. It's called a porthole. Thank you. So, you see this. Let's go to... Thank you, Art, so much.
I have claustrophobia and I imagine the nightmares.
Yes. So let's talk about a couple different things. I told you. So here is a Reddit. Okay, I had to hold off for a second so it doesn't do the thing. That is, Greg, you didn't see this. That's it popping off before a dive.
Before the day? The day of?
No, before another dive. This is before another dive because there was only 4 rivets in it and they popped off right before they went in the water.
And it's not supposed to do that.
It's never supposed to do that. And it's set for 18 of those fuckers.
18 of what?
18 rivets are supposed to go in to make sure it's secure.
Am I a bad person for wanting someone to edit the sonic sound with the pop?
Yes, but what I will say is there are versions of it with just him in the submersible. Edit it to that. There are some with him inside of the submersible by himself. You can edit it that way. Again, I'm not going to be nice to Stockton. I don't kind of care. I completely understand that he died. Again, this was gross negligence. There is other forms of bureaucratic oversight we'll get to. It is really unfortunate, but it pisses me off that this guy, this is rich people just doing whatever the fuck they want to do. It pisses me off that people had to lose their lives besides this guy. It's in the BBC documentary. The BBC documentary is the one, negligence, I call it murder. Manslaughter. Technically, it's manslaughter if you want to be specific because it's an accidental death, even though there's knowledge that it was that could have happened. It's like a whole big thing. Here's like a crazy thing. In the BBC documentary, the lady that lost her husband and son literally goes, I can't go after the man who killed my husband and child because he also died in this. What am I supposed to do? And it's so heart-wrenching because she's just like, there's nothing I could do. I technically can't go after the person who killed my family because he's also dead.
We can go with the company.
Currently, no criminal files. Currently, at the time of this recording, as well as those previous documentaries, there are no criminal or civil charges filed. The reality is there probably will be. They'll just have to determine who caused it. There's no lawsuits. Well, it's if it's reasonably if it's reasonably just Stockton's fault and not the board of directors' fault, maybe. There's a bunch of different things tied to it. The Coast Guard's investigation, while finalized, has not revealed its findings. It's like 2 different things. It's still incredibly sad. It's kind of crazy. But here's something even crazier about the submersible. Because Greg doesn't know about this. Because Greg wasn't here for this. So Greg.
Hi.
Let's talk about how they stored the submersible. Greg, what do you see here?
It's outside in the icy area where it's not supposed to be stored in ice.
Do you know why why carbon fiber specifically should not be stored in icy areas?
Water expands when it's frozen, and if it's in the cracks of the carbon fiber, it will expand and crack the carbon fiber further. I was there for this.
Were you there for this?
Yes, they talk about it in the documentary I did.
Oh, they must have talked. They talked about it in both docs. Then whatever. I'm crazy. But yes, as Greg aptly and succinctly and with expert precision identifies, for those who don't know, in the Newfoundland weather, where it becomes very, very cold by the port side, they didn't cover it. They didn't put it in a dry dock. They didn't put it anywhere. They literally left it in a fucking parking lot.
I didn't know it was a parking lot.
They literally left it in a fucking parking lot under freezing cold temperatures and to the elements, not even covered. So ice gets in between all winter, by the way. Sai completely points out, winter is not the season, so it stays there all winter. Just to put it back in the ocean. That's how the Challenger happened. Yes, Rosethorn, you're aptly correct. That's how the Challenger happened. And so, if you think about it, as Greg aptly puts, this thing is still porous in a specific fashion. Now, it's not gonna like go into it, but it's still porous. So every time it gets cold, and then it gets warm again, it gets cold, it gets warm again. Every time it gets cold, it gets warm again, cold, it gets warm again. It's expanding and slightly shearing over time the carbon fiber because it's making it weaker. So every time it goes down under the pressure of the ocean water, it starts to expand. Why make it out of carbon fiber in the first place?
Cheaper.
It's lighter weight.
Yes.
It's lighter weight. It makes it smaller so they can get closer to the Titanic.
Yes. Which we will talk about one of their trips down as well. But that was what it was cheaper. It was it was cheaper. It could go down easier. It was easier to make. So the idea was, and yes, it was also because he was an aerospace engineer. This guy was an aerospace engineer, and he wanted to do the submersible thing. So that's what he did. Now, chat, what if I tell you it gets even worse? It gets even more confusing. It gets even more crazy. Because again...
Say it ain't so.
Say it ain't so. Kasai aptly gave us this. Chat. Look what's screwed into the fiber. The carbon fiber hull. I wonder what's screwed in there. Is it the computer that's mounted? Could it be that it's screwed?
Like a little platform thing you just had in there.
Now again, sure. Let's say for instance, this doesn't ruin the integrity of the inside of the hull. Let's say that, right? We have seen that it was constantly breaking under pressure. It was left out to the elements, which you can't do with a carbon fiber hull. It had never passed multiple tests that it should have, had multiple issues, was constantly breaking. It's 5 inches of carbon fiber, it's fine. And that's what I'm saying. This I don't think is terrible necessarily, but when you add all of this together, when you add every little misstep, every act of hubris, every act of insanity, this collates into just complete buffoonery. Like I said, I don't think that this would have cracked the hull. I just find this one incredibly interesting to me. This is never really mentioned. So, to my knowledge, this is never even consideration when they're doing some of the investigation process. But, like, the bolts into stuff is not airtight. No, I agree. But, like, this is just, like, one of those insane level of things where it's, like, so many comedy of errors, and people just knew, but were too afraid of Stockton Rush to do anything about it. They didn't want to, because they were afraid of losing their jobs. So I think it's really interesting. Or get sued, which we will talk about. So let's hear from a couple different people. We're gonna take a little we're gonna take a little detour. Oh, if you want to see, here's them gluing the sub together. Which allegedly it does work, but yes. Here's them gluing the sub together, chat. In 2017, bonding the segments. Which we do have footage of.
Today is a critical joining of the titanium and the carbon fiber. That seal needs to be uniform and small, but not too small.
5 inches of carbon fiber is literally not fine, by the way. It's a giant sheet that'll literally say any defect can compromise the whole hull because it's weave structured. I will trust KJ on this. I will always try. When it comes to this shit, I'm trusting KJ. You may ask why KJ knows these things. He just does for specific reasons.
He worked at OceanGate.
No, don't say that.
What? He's not a Stockton Rushton. Stock Rush.
Between the two components,
Rushmore.
really what's holding them together and allowing them to move together is the glue. And so you want nice, even movement. It's the glue that holding the family together, and we want to make sure it's right.
So they used glue. I'm pretty sure that's not how you do this.
I've never made a boat, but I wouldn't make it with
It's
glue.
pretty simple.
Tape on
But
there
if
and
you
got it
mess it
down,
up,
buddy.
there's not a lot of recovery.
There he is. There's Stockton.
This is so dark in retrospect.
It is. He is
This is
building
so-
his tomb.
Well, when we were watching the documentary, I kept calling him Dr. Frankenstein.
Yes.
Because he's just making a monster. That's
why I
kill
called
people.
it Mad
It's sad.
Scientist Saw Trap.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see it here.
Yeah, that's why I called it that. I think for the edited VOD, I think I may call OceanGate's Frankenstein's monster. I think that's maybe what I call the actual edited version of this VOD.
The glue's very thick, so it's not like Elmer's glue. It's like peanut butter.
Yeah, I'd hope so.
You figure anything over.
And again, like many people know, they've also shaved levels of the carbon fiber. Now, I will say this: they had to sand the hull because of the high spot. They had to sand the hull because of high spots which would compromise the seal. Yes. Yes. The paste became dust. Yes. It's a freaking miracle
Turned
people
to
didn't
dust.
die sooner. So I've said this. This Stockton had like fool's luck for the longest time.
Yeah.
This thing should have exploded with people inside of it.
This is not surprising. It's surprising it took this long.
Yes. They would grind the bumps out of it and sand it down. Yes. They should have used green stuff. I don't know what green stuff is.
Green stuff is the modeling for like miniatures. It's a two-part epoxy. But
so that's literally a joke. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Also, shouldn't they be like wearing masks for this?
Depending.
Let them get personal.
Fuck. It's I.
I'm an atheist, but my only explanation is even God gave up on this guy.
I
Listen.
think
Like, man, I was giving you chances, but you just kept on fucking up.
I think that's true.
I'm good already. North-south, I just east-west.
Jesus Christ, this is insane. Like, for those who don't know, he is building his tomb. It's what, and what's crazy is that this is the first version of it. No, he's right. No PPE in sight. Yeah, like this is weird. You should call it Modern Icarus, like the novel subtitle, The Modern Prometheus. Maybe.
Well, it would be OceanGate: Modern Icarus or Frankenstein's monster.
That's too long. It's too
Why?
long.
Why is it too long? We'll shorten it down. OceanGate: Mod Ick or Frank Mon. Is that what you want?
Chat.
It's called men's hubris.
You know what you could do, Greg? Because I'll give you this one to edit. You can make any mid-Atlantic accent weird thing in the beginning of the stream if you want to.
I don't know what that means.
Today!
Stockton is engineering on OrcLogic.
The Midwest Atlantic accent is like, today, chat. Find submersible explodes for all to see. Can they survive it? You will find out now.
Yeah, I know what the Mid-Atlantic accent
You know
is.
that's actually not real, by the way?
Yes,
Fun
I know
fact,
that as well.
Mr. Beast was invited, but he declined.
Fun fact.
He was too busy.
Fun fact, in the Netflix documentary, they did have a YouTuber who was supposed to go into it. And the day he was supposed to go in, it was too stormy. He would have been in the exploded one had he gone down. Transatlantic, excuse me. Thank you.
What did you say?
Mid-Atlantic, I'm losing my mind.
The boot.
Oh yeah, so that will be the pressure vessel for Cyclops 2. It'll go to.
Oh, this is Cyclops 2. Holy
meters.
shit!
Be the
This is his 2.
diving carbon fiber.
I forgot this was his 2.
Ever built. When it goes to 4,000 meters, it'll be the only one out there. I'm going to be the first guy in the sub.
Oh,
so
it's meters, not
we
feet.
will see.
4,000 meters. My bad. Is this Titan? Yes. So, insane. Now, let's take a step back. Before we get to the sadness that was a whistleblower getting outed and sued to the point where he could no longer keep his case open to stop this from happening. Let's listen from the man himself. We're gonna listen to James Cameron in a little bit. CBS Sunday Morning Show, Stockton Rush. Chat, what if I told you that Stockton Rush 2 years ago was on the CBS Sunday Morning Show, a show that I have watched? Oh my god.
Greg, send what I DM'd you to the editor for the VOD.
Thank you for doing that. Now, I've watched the Sunday Morning Show here in America every Sunday with my family for as long as I've been alive, until I moved out. I never saw this episode, but here is insanity.
Catastrophic implosion. The unthinkable became all too real this past week as we learned of the fate of undersea explorer Stockton Rush's Titan submersible on its way to the Atlantic grave.
Well, let's skip this a little bit.
And his not unthinkable.
This was re-edited. So this was re-edited because they actually interviewed the guy before it ever went down. So they changed it. There's a reason why I'm skipping around.
We spent 9 days at sea with Rush last summer.
So the summer before it exploded, they actually met the guy. This is not 60 Minutes, by the way. We will get to the 60 Minutes James Cameron interview.
What's up, guys? Today I am vlogging from inside the Titan.
God damn
Whoa,
it.
guys, this is insane. We're super deep and the cam's picking up on this weird noise.
Oh my gosh. That's funny, but that guy was literally that guy.
That guy was that guy. He would have died. Like, he would have literally... What was his name? I think it was Scuba Jake was his name. That guy would have died.
So.
Scuba Jake would have died.
And
It's
in wake of
60
the
million
tragic
subs.
news, we thought you might like to
Yeah,
see
he
more
did
of
have
what
like
we saw.
6 million subs. That's right.
16.
16 million subs. Chat, can we get to at least 1.5K subs soon? I'm trying to hit it before the anniversary of the channel. Shit,
We might not make it.
except if you get us to 5K subs, it'd be awesome.
Dude,
Chat, can we
we're
get to
not gonna
5K
that
subs? Can we get
We're
to
not gonna
5K
get that
subs
over
by the end of the
one
month?
stream. You have to do a subathon.
I'm not doing this.
whatever.
I would actually explode if I did a subathon. A, I don't have the time. B, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Should Cameron make the movie based on this disaster? Is insane.
He's really busy with the 5 Avatar
Yes.
movies on his plate.
Yes.
But once he's done with that, I think he knows his next movie.
I'm always hyping you get good. Sai, I know you are. Listen, I know we're getting good. There's some things in the works for new technology stuff. But yeah, no, we're getting there.
Yeah, they call us
hear more of what
they call us
Stockton
the
Rush
James
said.
Cameron of commentary.
The Titan wasn't like any previous deep-sea submersible. There was no dashboard, just a touchscreen computer and a single power button.
We only have one button. That's it.
Wait a minute, I've seen submersibles, and they are banks of controls, like cockpit after cockpit.
Exactly. And this is to other submersibles what the iPhone was to the BlackBerry.
But many of its components seemed surprisingly cheap.
Insane!
For views outside the sub, he had installed store-bought security cameras.
Yes, we are raising the bar. Chat, if you don't know this, we here at the Op Block raise the bar for every other commentary channel. Do you want comedy? Subscribe to the Op Block. Do you want tears? Subscribe to the Do you want social commentary? Go find some weird leftist YouTuber that I'm not. We right here.
Metal Man, I don't think Fauci got the joke, but I got the joke. Thank you.
We are literally raising the bar on commentary. Yes, chat, you heard that right. Store-bought security cameras. He bought GoPros.
As for the ceiling lights,
I got these from Camper World.
and then
Who's the Stockton rush of commentary? Bo Blacks?
Bo Blacks. I was literally about to say Bo Blacks.
Bo Blacks?
Bo
No,
Blackington?
maybe Bo Blacks. No, it had to be somebody who like imploded themselves worse than any. Oh no. No. It wouldn't be Xander Hall. Oh my God, what's his name? John Swan.
Studios?
No, it'd be John Swan.
I don't
John
think about John
Swan
Swan.
would be the Stockton rush of commentary. Lied through his teeth, had the world in his palm, and then imploded entirely. John Swan would be like a really accurate way of putting it. Mama Max? No. Because Mama Max
No,
wasn't
not
really
the same.
commentary the same way. Like, he just, like, Mama Max is interesting, but Mama Max is not, like, the same way. Oh my God. It has to be somebody, like, imploding themselves. Yeah, that's why I say John Swan. Because John Swan and Illuminati's really, really good. But, like, yeah. Did you see the coverage that John stole, like, a shit ton of script and jokes? Yeah.
I believe
Listen,
it. YouTube.
it happens. Yeah,
It's
Stockton
happened to
hubris,
people we
yeah.
know.
It's happened to me. I know someone stole our coverage on something once. I don't care personally. Because A, I don't really give a shit. And B, I think it's funnier.
there was the steering unit.
We run the whole thing with this game controller.
Come on! So, it seems like a lot of the way you made
Game controller.
Why I got
That's
the
the
nipples?
appropriate response.
Why I got the nipples?
Oh, those are 3D printed to give it more finger quotes precision.
Yes, he piloted this with a fucking Ouya curve. Like Mad Cat is gonna get us one day.
It's Logitech.
No,
it's a
sorry,
Logitech
it actually
controller.
wasn't you. I'll tell you later.
I
It's a
was me, I
Logitech
stole
controller.
your Dan's burst coverage.
No, you didn't. Someone else did.
All right, moving on.
Come on!
I'm
So,
fucking around.
It seems like a lot of the way you made this is by taking off-the-shelf parts and sort of MacGyvering them together.
Yeah, pretty much.
Does that not raise anybody's eyebrows in the industry?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I'm definitely an outlier. There were a lot of rules out there that didn't make engineering sense to me.
Everyone I know keeps asking me the same question. Why would you get on that dangerous sub? Well, first of all, Stockton Rush had the
First
credentials.
of all, I'm stupid.
He majored in aerospace.
No, but this is a good point of order. Stockton sold himself as a really, really good engineer. But he didn't really have anything to his name, which is like the crazy part. Like, going to this guy's history, he didn't have anything to his name.
Engineering at Princeton. He designed and flew his own airplanes. He designed previous submersibles.
Let's talk about that for a second. Reports from insider knowledge in the documentaries highlight the fact that Stockton had the money to buy kits. He bought plane and submersible kits, which I didn't even know were a real thing, by the way.
Yeah.
You could buy life-sized plane and submersible models. You put them together like a fucking gunpla and you go in them.
Like IKEA.
Like a Lego.
Like a Lego. It's like, what the fuck? And they're uber expensive. Like, insanely so.
But when you say I've built a plane and I've built a submersible before. That sounds better than I bought a kit.
So I built a gun before.
It's
But
just
very
this is all
tiny.
the used car salesman tactics that people like obfuscate the full truth by telling you truth, but from a specific angle so that you don't pry too much or you trust in them enough to pay $250K and sign up to be an employee so that you can go underwater and look at a wrecked ship.
Yeah. Like, listen, we can make the Mad Cats joke. This was a Logitech controller that goes for like $20. He bought a $20 controller to pilot this thing, by the way, that they spent like $90 million on.
If you didn't have that controller, one of your friends had that controller.
It's funny.
Yes, Rocky.
Did your mic mess up? His mic messed up. Give him a second.
Can't hear
Chat, while we're waiting, I did that AI boyfriend's
there we go. I'm back.
voice over yesterday, and it really wrecked my throat. So that's why I sound funkadelic today.
So I was sorry. I don't tell my
Never
parents.
again will I pretend to be a pirate on this stream.
You're a pirate.
Oh yeah. This weekend I saw F1 in the theaters.
Boo.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah, they said
boring.
It was mad.
No, I haven't watched it, but it seems boring. I don't
tell
care
me
for
lies, tell me sweet
racing.
little
Ricky Bobby's the only racing
I
movie for
knew
me.
about airplane kits.
I mean, I've watched it
The local
before,
airport near
like, when I
here
was
sells
younger, I
them,
watched
but
it
they
before
also
racing.
have a flight
it was
school.
very
Angel, thank you so much. That's
cliche,
interesting.
But it was funny at times. It had like a bunch of actors I really love, so I was like, okay.
CJ, if you
of,
watch our last stream,
Like
we'll go over Trad Wives as well as.
If you were talking, we cannot hear you.
Yeah,
oh no, they can't hear me anymore. Oh, that's I don't know. Okay, that's weird.
Unless you muted us, so you could just talk.
No, I didn't mute you guys. What?
Let me check.
Can you hear it?
No, I mean,
can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hold on, I'll just leave and come back. Let's see if this works.
I am literally gay.
Hello.
Hello. That's weird.
Okay,
I accidentally unplugged my thing, and it like fucked up because I'm using different speakers for my headset.
It happens. Okay. Yeah. We're all good.
Yeah. They heard all of us.
Great
you
when
guys
it
couldn't
works.
hear me.
We're good. Yeah, we're caught up.
So, if you boyfriend stuff, last stream we went over trad wives and AI boyfriends. You can, if you haven't watched the last stream, recommend you watching it. It's super fun, super entertaining. But this is so weird and entertaining to me. It's so interesting.
Second, he was emphatic that the important parts of the Titan were rock solid, like the carbon fiber body, for which NASA served as a consultant.
There's certain things that you want to be buttoned down. And
yes, I know. Tech issues, Fauci. I know. I gotta get a new cord, or I gotta get like it's not from what I don't think it's the cord. I think it's actually who's it? I think it's actually the thing it plugs into is not working.
Is that how the quartering owns planes? His wife is a pilot. I think he owns them through her.
That would actually be an interesting point of order if he owns.
Yeah. Cut it.
1.
This time I pulled up stream so I can know I can hear you.
Yeah.
Weird. This is.
I am literally gay.
I know I'm gay. It's getting weird. I don't know what's happening. It's like now it's the cord. Anytime the cord moves now, it's like a huge problem.
Yeah. You
yes,
need to get a new cord.
that is the issue I have with my end. But I'm not changing my audio at all. Do not touch anything.
I don't. I mean, I can't. I don't
Wait
need. I
till
don't
Fauci discovers I worked with OceanGate.
Thank you.
We knew that though.
Well, don't move it. I'm moving my body. Because my legs hurt because I stand for most streams.
Are you kicking? Just don't kick forward.
I know I need a new mic eventually. I don't want to.
I think I think your mic's fine. It might be just the cord.
cable.
Yeah.
I have to get a new PC first before the mic stuff. But again,
the cord would be
and then
cheaper.
one stream is just no one can hear you, and then it's like, well, I guess at the end of the stream because no one can hear Valgy.
No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'll make sure.
The cord would be cheaper.
The cord would be cheaper. I meant
like
getting a whole new microphone
$2
because if I get a new microphone,
You don't...
Okay.
Go on.
Not the time.
messing with your mic.
Oh, that's my train of thought. Let's continue.
And that's the pressure vessel. Once the pressure vessel is, you're certain it's not going to collapse on everybody, everything else can fail. Your thrusters can go, your lights can go, you're still going to be safe.
Third, I was convinced by an expert, P.H. Nargeolet.
Yes, for those who don't know, P.H. Nargeolet is like a veteran.
He's the guy.
He is the guy. He was the guy before James Cameron. He's the guy that James Cameron would have went to. This guy, I believe, was incredibly negligent. He lent his name knowing some of the issues regarding the Titan submersible. It is why, as much as I feel very bad for his daughter, who is very emotional about the loss of her father, this guy was... She's upside down, chat. This guy is, in my opinion, as culpable. He knew. He knew and let people go down with it. Yeah, I have no idea why this guy vouched for Stockton so much. I believe he had some...
We'll never
okay.
know. You want tinfoil hat theory? You want tinfoil hat time?
Tinfoil theory. There's two tinfoil theories. The guy's wife died, apparently, like before, so maybe he had like a dying wish. The second tinfoil hat theory, my opinion, my tinfoil hat theory, it's not that he got paid. He was a grave robber. Apparently, Nargeolet wanted to go down with the submersible and gather artifacts from the Titanic that were slowly being degraded by the ocean floor. I think he legitimately wanted to take artifacts back and then give them to, or loan them to museums. And for those who don't know, rich people will just loan things and get paid for those things to be loaned. This man wanted to be remembered as an archivist for the Titanic. And I do think that in a way, Stockton was a useful idiot for them. Is that legal? Yeah. That is my tinfoil hat theory. Again, his loss of life is very sad. I'm not going to discount that. That is one of the prevailing like schizo theories that like he did. And there's some evidence to the fact that he wanted to take some artifacts back before they were destroyed by deep sea pressure, degradation, all of those things. Because again, the Titanic is slowly disappearing over time. But yes, I do think that he was grave robbing a little bit.
Veteran deep-sea explorer who also perished in the Titan. Over the years, he'd been to the Titanic more than just about anyone.
How many times have you been?
With the last dive, 37 times.
You've been to the Titanic 37 times?
Yes. I was in charge of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 subs.
How different is the Titan from those other subs?
Completely different.
I remember a survivor called these people vultures and pirates. Yeah, again, it's visiting historic grave sites and like the spooky tours of New Orleans or like battlefields. Very, very different when, you know, those people's like relatives aren't really alive anymore or they're also okay with it.
Yeah, it's like kind of like from what I understand, most the people who like have family who died on the Titanic don't care about the Titanic. There's a lot of people who just romanticize the tragedy that care about the Titanic.
Fauci wishes he could kiss fish like scientists do.
True. But
my
also,
name is not Jotaro. Thank you very much.
The other thing is, like, you can go to these other places without having to risk your life.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It's also not, in my opinion, not commodified the same way or lauded the same way. It's just different, in my opinion. Again, this is not me moral flagging. I don't understand the appeal. I also don't give a shit if people do it. I personally don't understand the appeal. Invoicing Emu!
Dog.
Invoicing Emu is Leia's new favorite chatter. Chat, you win another goal! If you want to be Leia's new favorite chatter, you have to be the last chatter of the night that tips. that gets the treat. But chat, you know what time it is. It's time to feed the puppers. It's time to give her treats. It's time to feed the dog now on the Uplock stream tonight. Yes, everybody, it's time to feed the dog. Oh, really? She was upstanding before. I want to point this out. I had to get new treats. I got to get more low-calorie treats. I actually ran out of them. So I'm giving her the big ones, and she's going to get plump.
Crack them in half. Crack them in half.
Oh, that's true. I could crack them in half. You're absolutely
How do you
right,
not?
Greg.
Okay. Oh my god.
No, I do, but these are like quite
You
small.
showed the jar, and I was like, these seem big. And
Oh,
when you showed
these?
up
Yeah.
the jar. Yeah.
Oh, you could. Yeah, I should crack them in half now.
Now Pippi wants a treat.
Good girl. Good girl.
She just came up and tapped my arm.
I lower her food intake on days where she's getting treats anyways, to be fair.
Was there never a point when you wondered about the safety of the sub at that depth?
No. 2 or 3 years ago, I had a phone call with Stockton, and he explained to me that he was doing a lot of tests. He showed me the ways they were building the stuff. I said, okay, that's fine. That's fine. I have no problem to dive in the sub.
I was also
gonna go and talk to the harem in a few minutes.
Damn.
Remember that Falgi can cure you. About
True.
that Falgi, I'm still on crutches.
Oh my
Why is
god.
that?
Because he
Raised
hasn't
eyebrow
cured
emoji.
you.
Well, I mean,
He refuses to cure you.
that's what
Enjoy the
happens
harem.
that's what happens when I break your back out.
You got
impressed by
remember
the
you got 2
sub's
hands.
Yeah, I do have 2 hands.
I'm
7
talking to Kikan.
redundant systems for returning to the surface.
These are roll weights. We can actually roll this up and those come off. That gains us some buoyancy to come back to the surface.
My dog's on a diet and he gets carrots. He loves them though. My dog loves fruits and vegetables. I really should get some carrots instead of these treats. I've thought about it recently.
Carrots are very high in sugar.
That's what I was about to say. They're high in sugar. Probably the better alternative is celery.
Okay. These triple weights we call
I'll just freeze some celery and just hand it out.
are hydraulically driven.
Expedition manager Kyle Bingham.
Underneath this tray hang these bags. We're around 35
I am
pounds.
the Italian stallion, you're right.
And those hang down there. Typical dive will have 8 of them. We can also use our thrusters. We have enough power to thrust back up. And then under this last fairing here, we have our variable ballast tank or soft ballast. It's an air bladder that we use a big 10,000 PSI air tank that's under the tail to fill that up, fill it with air, and then it helps bring us to the surface.
This is insane.
There were even sandbags that detach automatically after about 16 hours, even if everyone inside had passed out. Their connectors would dissolve in seawater.
So you have a backup of a backup of a backup of a backup of a backup.
Correct.
All these, okay, I want to point out all these safety measures, and none of them prevent what actually happened. None of them could have prevented what happened because structurally, this thing was never sound to start. That's the problem. This thing was never structurally sound. Is that the Titan? Yes. This is the Titan submersible that they're currently in. None of it mattered because that's not why it exploded. Can someone back up the video? Yes, go on. What? Layla Knight, there's something I want to check. Go on, Layla. I'm loving how they just went bloop is insane. Yeah, bloop is super low calorie because it's just water. What's up, Layla? You're freaking out in the chat. What's going on? What's going on? Look at the hull. Yeah, no, the hull is like it's got little things in it. I already know. It's not airtight. No, we know. Because it's sheets of metal. It's like sheets of titanium also on top of it as well.
Of a backup of a backup of a backup of a backup.
Correct.
All stations are reporting the dive to go. Please stand by.
Finally, the crew seems to foster a culture of safety. There were check.
Yeah, the rivets and everything. They're not like purely on either. Yeah, it's hard to wrap your around by anyone's thinking that this is a good idea.
Inspections before and after every dive, and a 3 strikes rule. If 3 things seemed out of the ordinary, no matter how minor, they'd cancel the dive.
And here's what's crazy. None of that mattered because the hull was compromised from the start.
I learned that the hard way on our own dive.
We're in the water. We're floating.
At this point, divers are supposed to detach the sub from its launch platform.
So apparently those floats there came off the platform. That wasn't supposed to happen.
So we're scrubbing?
Yeah, I think that's the consensus up here.
Copy that.
I never did see the Titanic, and I wasn't unusual. In OceanGate's first 2 summers of Titanic operations, it spent a total of 50 days floating above the shipwreck site. But because of waves, bad weather, and malfunctions, the Titan actually made it to the Titanic only 12 times.
12 trips. This thing only made it to the Titanic 12 recorded times. It only got to that depth 12 times. And on the 12th time, or the 13th time, I don't know which one, it imploded. Insane.
But through it all, Stockton Rush defended his unconventional approach.
I mean, anything when you're trying something outside the box, people inside the box think you're nuts. Same thing when Elon Musk was doing SpaceX.
See how he refers to himself like Elon? Interesting.
Inside the box, everything's scary.
But as early as 2018, there was concern about the Titan's design.
Yeah.
A former employee says that when he raised safety concerns, Rush fired him. That same year, a group of submersible engineers urged Rush to seek certification of the Titan by a safety agency. Rush declined, saying that regulation would stifle innovation.
Every single measure to be safe, he ignored. Every single safety measure he ignored. Go to a governing body? Why would I do that?
My kick can.
Can I kick can? I would never go to a governing body that makes sure my submersible is safe, because they'll find out it's not.
At some point, safety just is pure waste. I mean, if you just want to be safe, don't get out of bed, don't get in your car, don't do anything. Yeah. At some point, you're going to take some risk, and it really is a risk-reward question. I said, I think I can do this just as safely by breaking the rules.
So, Captain McLaren, have you spent much time in submarines?
David, my total time under the water, divorced from the outside atmosphere, is a little over 5 3/4 years. No kidding. Fact.
Retired U.S. Navy submarine captain
okay,
Alfred McLaren is not impressed by OceanGate's innovations.
Ooh.
I mean, would you fly in an airplane that somebody excitedly told you, well, it's going to be a lot cheaper because we found a new way of attaching the wings? Yeah, right.
He feared.
Wait, that guy is so based.
This guy
Wait, this guy is so based. Wait, this guy may be one of the funny.
He's underwater for 5 years. He's more Neptune than man.
That's so funny. Oh my god.
What?
So fun. That's just so funny to me that he's just like, why would I get into this thing? Why would I trust this thing? Like, it's just so fun. It's just so funny to me.
Theorizes that the Titan failed not because it was made of carbon fiber, but because it was made of 3 dissimilar materials: carbon fiber, titanium, and plexiglass for the porthole.
When you have different materials, different molecular structure, they have different coefficients of expansion and compression, and then you make repeated cycles in depth, of course you're going to work that seal loose. And that's why submarines don't run around with any portholes at all, come to think of it. It's a weak point.
I think there's a great, almost surreal irony here, which is Titanic sank because the captain took it full steam into an ice field at night on a moonless night with very poor visibility, after he had been repeatedly warned by telegram, by Marconigram.
In an interview with Anderson Cooper, filmmaker and veteran Titanic diver James Cameron pointed out a sad parallel between Stockton Rush and the captain of the Titanic.
The arrogance and the hubris that sent that ship to its doom is exactly the same thing that sent those people in that sub to their fate.
The world mourns the loss of Stockton Rush, PH.
The world doesn't mourn Stockton Rush dying. I'll be very real. Fuck him. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Nobody mourns his loss. PH, yeah, sure, people mourn his loss.
Maybe his wife mourns his loss.
Yeah, maybe.
Narjaleh, and their 3 passengers, British billionaire Hamish Harding, Pakistani businessman Shahzada Dawood, and his son Suleiman.
This kid was like 17 years old.
19, I think.
19? Right? Yeah, this kid was like 17 to 19 years old.
19,
This kid
I think I remember saying.
did not deserve to die. Like, Rush was an asshole. Like, you know? Sorry, I have to make a tweet. Dead air.
Will you stop interrupting me while I'm telling my story?
Go on.
Can
Yeah.
you
Go ahead.
could you not be streamer for 5 seconds?
Go on.
Now that time has gone on, I don't think my throat is hurting from reading yesterday. I think I have gotten sick.
Oh no.
That's not good, buddy.
Do we need to
Why?
kill somebody?
Why? People get sick all the time.
Sick.
Happens all the time. You work in a hospital.
Hold on.
Oh yeah, we got
Okay.
Are you
Okay,
tweeting
okay.
at
So,
Stockton
okay,
Rush?
so a heads up. Slug, are you in chat?
Huh.
I'm diverting. Slug, are you in chat? I'm gonna send you
Probably not.
something, brother. Because you and I are about to laugh. So, chat, I'm gonna talk about something a little bit real quick.
Are we
Small
derailing?
divert. Small divert. Small divert.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We have not talked about the Skeppy allegations. I'm going to tell you
I
why.
don't know anything about that.
That's the Minecraft thing. I'm going to tell you why. I know information behind the scenes that I cannot say out loud. Slug, I sent you something, brother. You may find...
I was fucking right. What?
I can't say anything. So a bunch of shout outs to Redheaded. Redheaded and a couple of other of our peoples wanted to send us these crazy Minecraft bullshit allegations where one girl goes, "Teehee, I was date raped." Literally in a PowerPoint slide says, "Teehee, I was low-key date raped." Insane, by the way.
Right.
I didn't want to speak on it because I heard some of the behind the scenes stuff that I cannot talk about. I will respect it. I will not talk about it. Because I don't know how far it goes. It's insane. All of this to say, one of the accusers has now come up. "Oh, I talked to my abuser. Everything's good now. I was wrong about accusing him of anything." Skeppy is a failed at this point. Low-key, like, his numbers and his current views are not similar. This guy has like over 1 million subs, but only gets
Yeah,
like
it's like 6
55K on his on like some of his videos. He was accused of pedophilia. He was accused of creating a murder thing, like a cult, grooming, like all these things. Only for the main person to leverage these allegations to now say, "I had talked to my abuser and I recant everything." Insane. For reasons I didn't talk about it, I will still not talk about what I've heard behind the scenes about it. It's part of the reasons why I didn't talk about it. Because, like, the moment I hear something that I feel like the moment I feel like I know something about a story that I'm not necessarily, how do I say this? The moment I hear something about a story that I cannot say out loud, and nor could I even discuss its development, it becomes a little bit weird. And I have to
define weird.
Asshole.
Define it, man.
It's difficult because when I hear something about a story that I can't 100% verify, but on the surface now actually seems correct, this is unlike the Saberspark stuff because while I was emailing Saberspark and we were.
You cut out.
You cut out again. Anyway,
I'm back, which I now have to get out of this call.
Anyway, what about them bears?
I'm literally moving my knee once.
I'm literally gay.
Once I'm moving my knee.
Hello.
I moved my knee once because it hurts and I can't even, this is bullshit. I really need a new cord. All this to say, no, you will not speak for me. All this to say, yes, I didn't want to say anything, because unlike the Saberspark stuff, I can confirm my interactions with Saber. Thus, me not sharing that with the public at the time was never something I was going to hide. It was just something that at the time I could not share because it was off the record. I could have spoken that I spoke with Saber. The information I know about some of the Skeppy stuff is stuff that I can't personally source. I trust the source that told me this because they showed me proof of some parts of this, but I couldn't touch it. So that's why we never really covered it. I know people have covered it. I know Harmful covered it. I know Chud covered a little bit of it. I may now cover it as like a small aside and then lead into another stream, because it is interesting seeing these allegations be levied and now the main accuser being like, oh no, this didn't happen. That's pretty much it. Let's listen to the rest of this.
Before going on, it wasn't worth covering because of how little there actually was to look at in the two Google Docs. But this is more
that's
interesting.
Not the main. That's just a different. But is that the minor? That's the second accuser? But is that the minor, or is that the? Okay, so I recant that for a second. But is that the minor, or is that the date rape?
That's a sentence of all time.
Well, there's 3 people involved. The minor is the one who retracted it. That's even worse. Because the first person had no allegations. It was just a bad breakup. Oh, God. What does this have to do with OceanGate? I'm sorry if I'm rude, but I'm confused. It's just something.
If this is your first time here, Falgi has ADHD and sometimes gets sidetracked.
Yes, I do. But like Greg was saying, it's just a derail. Let's get back to the video.
Already, there's talk of restrictions and regulations and lawsuits. Will the OceanGate disaster mean fewer people going adventuring? Well, every year people do die skydiving and scuba diving and climbing Mount Everest. Tragic every time, and yet people still keep coming. Some people just have that itch. For them, danger is the point. The risk of dying gives meaning to living. I think Stockton Rush was among them.
I wanted to be sort of the Captain Kirk. I didn't want to be the passenger in the.
I'm sorry. This in hindsight is a really terrible.
Fuck off, Anderson Cooper.
Yeah,
Fuck off.
Because Kirk doesn't want to be famous.
Yes.
Kirk wants to be a captain.
Yes.
And Stockton wants to be famous.
Yes. How are you to be fair, this was 2 years ago when a lot of the inside information was not known. This was immediately in the week after the crash.
This is immediate reaction from a news company.
Yes.
This is a safe take from a news company. Absolutely.
This is an incredibly safe take.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is like an incredibly safe take. But now let's go to a couple different things. So, in the aftermath of the explosion, we know about an individual by the name of Lockridge. Now, this is a small little segment of his commentary on it. So who is Lockridge? Now, Lockridge, I don't know if they say his full name. David Lockridge.
It says right there.
Dave Lockridge was a SEAL, in I guess the Irish. No, he's Scottish.
Scottish.
I don't know all of them. I'm sorry.
This is the American.
Nationality right.
Listen, it's the American struggle. Of I don't know what accent you're from.
Yes.
Look at if you're foreign, you're from one of the. We have 6 spots you can be from, and they are interchangeable in the American eye.
Really?
Maybe if you guys all got the right spot, maybe if you people all came from the same place that had the same accent. His accent is so Scottish. I know.
We are American. I cannot tell you. I cannot say it any other better.
My grandfather's rolling in his grave right now.
I will say.
I don't care.
It's one of those things where I said it wrong the first time, and my brain is always going to remember it. Yes.
That's literally it. If you say it wrong the first time,
it's one of those
brain
worms things.
That's fine.
David Lockridge is a Scottish former like SEAL diver. Like he was in the service for this. He was originally the director of marine operations, and he should have been the point man for all manned submersible dives. Here's the fun fact. Stockton Rush didn't give a shit. Stockton Rush said, I'm the captain now, and constantly would drive this all over the place. He always wanted to be the guy. And there's a reason why Stockton leaves.
Everybody knew, from the engineering team. I mean, I spoke to every single one of them, all the children that were coming in.
Also, this is a side note. Greg and I, for the longest time, thought this guy was James Cameron up here.
If you look at him from this angle, he's got the goatee and the glasses and the white hair.
Yes.
I swear to God, it was him.
We thought it was James Cameron for the long, like, he looks like so much. He ignored the experts. Oh, we'll get there. We will get there.
Oh, that is an understatement.
Right out of university. Some hadn't even been to university yet that Tony Nissen had employed. Stockton had no experience building submersible. None of them did. None of them were experienced submersible operators. I know the company had been on the go since 2009. There was no experience across the board within that organisation. That initially was the entire appeal for me going across and transforming things and making something good out of what at the time was nothing. It was nothing. It was all smoke and mirrors, all the social media that you see about all these past expeditions. They always had issues with their expeditions.
So it's really important to note that Lockridge constantly knew that there were problems, and he tried consistently and constantly to alert them that there were constant issues. And it really bothered me in a lot of ways, because he would be a whistleblower eventually for the company, because he was asked to inspect it, told them, hey, you crazy fucks, this is gonna explode. What are you doing? Please, please, for the love of God, I want all of you to succeed with this, but this is incredibly unsafe. And they fired him. So what does he do? Lockridge still knows that this is incredibly, incredibly, incredibly dangerous. So under the whistleblower protection, he goes to OSHA, shares his findings with OSHA, and is like, listen, I need to do this. Like, this is the right thing to do. And this is where I feel, especially in America, because we looked it up a little bit. Now, I'm not an expert in this, so this is my personal complaint based on the surface level information that we looked up. Lockridge is then sued by OceanGate for theft, extortion, and defamation. And he drains his life savings to fight this fight. And unfortunately, Lockridge has to settle because he had to do I don't know if it was an NDA or whatever it was, or like all of these things. He has to settle because he can no longer afford it. And not only that, there are 11 cases before his. Do you know what happens when he settles? He withdraws his OSHA violation case. You know what happens then? They no longer are going to investigate this. He did this years before the implosion. Years before the implosion. I believe he leaves in 2019 and does it immediately after he leaves. 2019 or 2020. I can't remember when he leaves. He left. Immediately reports this as a violation because he gets sued because there's no protection for whistleblowers. There's and rightfully so, the OSHA guy's like, well, it's not like the witness protection program because there's no actual protection for whistleblowers to not be sued by the companies they're whistleblowing against. He gets sued. And not only that, this company was not necessarily in the US. It was, part of it was based here, but part of it was based in Newfoundland. Even though they had a Washington location, I believe, at the time. Again, it's so important to realize that this guy tried to do everything right. He tried to save people's lives. And because of the fact that there was no protections for him as a whistleblower, no legal protections, he was able to be sued and he was able to be silenced, and 5 people died because of that. That is where I feel like the biggest oversight of bureaucracy goes on. There's a bunch of different oversights. Like I said before, the submersible never being classed, I think, is really insane to me. The fact that it not being classed and it's still allowed to go underwater and not being stopped, like they're not like, they don't like have like no dock privileges. They're not under stringent other obligations and things like that. Well, here's the thing, Midge. He sent the OSHA violation anonymously. They still know who he was. They still know they know who they fired. They know where the email comes from. They know, like, because you have to remember, this was a small company. Very
the
famous.
Other aspect to it was he was saying things that were in his NDA that he couldn't say, so that was part of the case against them, that he broke his NDA to file a report with OSHA.
Yes.
Which I feel like should be protected because NDAs don't protect you from like illegal activities.
Yes.
But OSHA violations may not constitute illegal activities if they're not malicious, I guess. Negligence isn't malicious, which isn't criminal. I don't know how it's written.
But well, it's also because there's still a small company, because they went civilly, not criminally, against him. You have to remember too, like a very actually like big example is the Blizzard stuff, when Blizzard got sued by the state of California for OSHA violations, for wage theft and other things like that. Those people were anonymous and could be because it was a large enough company. Very famously, oh my god, what's that bitch's name?
Randy Pitchford.
No, blonde bitch. I know I'm calling her a bitch, but she's a bitch. She had the ponytail. She purposely wore the
she got pregnant.
turtlenecks.
The Steve Jobs.
Yes,
wannabe.
the Steve Jobs, because she was
the blood lady.
Yes, the blood lady.
Yes.
Very famously, the
Google blood
whistleblower
lady.
came out.
Steve Jobs.
Not Elizabeth Warren.
No,
Elizabeth Holmes.
Elizabeth Holmes. Yes, the vampire bitch.
I typed in blood lady Steve Jobs,
and it came up immediately.
Yes.
So for those who don't know, Elizabeth Holmes, much like Stockton here, wait, Sai, do you not know who the blood lady is? Sai,
come on.
you and I are gonna go on a magical carpet ride one of these days. I'm gonna join. I would love to go on. You and I could talk. I'll come onto a stream. We'll talk about the blood lady. She is a complete fascination of mine.
It's amazing. There's
no, but it comes into this. Elizabeth Holmes allegedly created a device that read your blood, would understand it on a molecular level, and provided you vitamins and medications that you should take for better health.
But the other caveat was what made it amazing was that it needed only a little bit of blood, not a lot of blood.
Very small sample size.
Yes, exactly. Theranos. It needed the amount of a prick that you would get on a diabetic test. And then over time, different things happened. Like they would have it, like the machine wouldn't work, but they'd have an on-site phlebotomist who would take more blood than they was really supposed to. But they were like, well, you don't understand, like using the machine, blah, 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 blah. Yes, Fauci explains the blood lady to Sai is a stream. I will drag you on for that.
We won't go into too much more detail then.
I won't go into too much detail, but this is exactly what that's like. This is somebody, and whistleblowers came out for her. And they were protected because the company was large enough to divert that. Even though he was still the person was still scared. It's crazy. On-site phlebotomist, not lobotomist.
Phlebotomist.
But coming back to it and why it like really does frustrate me, because Sai has this. We have like the discovery of remains and other things. I want to show one of the craziest stories from this. Because this is in all the documentaries, but here you go.
but there was an incident on the Doria. It was meant to be my dive. I was meant to take 4.
So let's talk about the Angadoria.
This story is crazy. This story is actually crazy.
So I don't know how much detail is going to go in. So let's talk about the Angadoria for a second. So they would take a series of test dives to different wrecks and different places that they can go to test the level of depth that they could go. So Lockridge is supposed to man the submersible. And Rush is like, no, I'm doing it. So not only does he steal it, he didn't want Lockridge to even go inside of the submersible with him. And he's like, you're taking me whether you like it or not. So he goes into the submersible with him. And there is footage of this in the Netflix doc. It's astounding. It's you lose your breath. They're going in, they're going down. He gets so close that they're already too close. He puts them in a debris field, right? Already too close. They're really close to the bow, like all this stuff. Stockton puts them so close to this Angadoria, another shipwreck. When Lockridge looks up the porthole that's above them, he says, "Do not move." He wedged them underneath the bow of the boat, which means that any misstep would have broken the integrity of the hull, because remember, the carbon fiber really isn't made to get hit. He almost wedged them. Fauci, it's Andrea Doria. Thank you. He almost wedged them underneath the hull, and they would have just all died. Immediately, they would have just all died. Everyone would have died. And the people on the boat like, oh, that was amazing. That was crazy. That's super like cool and interesting. Like, oh, it was harrowing. And literally, Lockridge has to, and you see it in the video. You see it in the documentary. We may, if you're in the Discord, we may do a watch along of the documentary where we all watch it on our own Netflix accounts. Right, yes. Greg? We all watch it on our own Netflix accounts.
I don't have Netflix. I can't afford it. There's an aspect to this that I'm gonna go on a small tangent here.
Go on.
But just give me just like 3 minutes of your time.
Of course.
In the most recent season of The Rehearsal, they have with Nathan Fielder. They're talking about like airline pilots and the relationships between airline pilots, because you need a pilot and a co-pilot for commercial air flights and other airline things, but or airplane. But one of the aspects that they're talking about is like the communication between two pilots when a co-pilot needs to step up and take over when they think the pilot is doing something wrong or whatever the procedures may be. Stockton has a pilot's license.
Yes.
He knows this. He's trained. He has to have trained under that as well, and he doesn't implement any sort of pilot co-pilot system in the Titan.
No.
And so when they're filming this, David Lockridge like rips the controller out of his hand practically.
Yeah. Like he literally tells him, "You are not piloting this anymore. I'm the only one that can get us out of this." It's insane. Like literally, it's one of the most insane things where they almost all die. Sai, I don't know if you got to see that in the Netflix doc. Sai can tell you, it is one of the scariest things, because Lockridge fully knows that they could die. 100% fully knows. Like he is so nervous the entire trip. You see him tense. You see him like looking around. Like he's constantly nervous. And he pulls them out. And he pulls Stockton off the controls. And it's just even crazier. But let's continue on the way Lockridge tells this story.
4 paying clients down to the wreck. And
the Andrea Doria.
The intention of that entire trip with these mission specialists was we had new sonar fitted to the submersible. We were going to be doing 3D modeling of the wreck. The wreck itself it's dangerous. We knew it was falling to bits. We did our research, and
remember, they're going with an untested submersible when it comes to damage. Now, they put it under certain depths, and it didn't always succeed. That's one of the problems, right? But it was never tested to take damage the same way other submersibles, like metal submersibles, were supposed to. And remember, they're not also supposed to take damage either. And this thing was falling apart. It's the worst place to do this, in my opinion.
And the plan was I was going to be dropping down over several days, keeping distance from the wreck completely, and basically circumnavigating the wreck at 50 meters away and carrying out sonar scans to create this 3D model of the wreck itself, which, in all good intentions, it was so that divers, future divers, can see exactly what's happening with the decay and degradation of the hull of the Doria itself. It is a very famous vessel, but deadly. I mean, I don't know today, but at the time, I think there was like 18 deaths on the Doria with technical divers diving on it.
Christ. And I kind of want to make something very clear, because we do describe aptly that Lockridge is a whistleblower. In interviews in the Netflix document, Lockridge was fully sold on this idea being such a good thing for the industry, for diving, for mapping, for research. He was so excited to work on this, to map the sea floor more, to do safer dive procedures. Like, this guy bought into this until the moment he could not. When it risked lives, when it cut corners, when Stockton showed his hubris, he said, listen, I want you to succeed, and I need you to succeed. But this is not okay. No, he's not single. He is very married, and he drained his and his wife's life savings to not be sued, only to give up the fight because he had no more money.
Yeah, unfortunately, the CEO decided that he wanted to take it down. I objected because I know sometimes he could do things to please himself. He told me I was
He would masturbate. He would masturbate inside the submersible. I think he fucked the porthole.
Shut up.
I think he stuck his dick inside of it. That's what I
There's
truly
no way
believe.
of... You mean Stockton?
Yes. I think
You think Stockton... You think Stockton?
I think Stockton stocked up.
Staying out. I objected again. I was sort of reined in at the time. Just remember, I'm the CEO. You're just an employee.
The porpoise.
I eventually persuaded him to let me come in on the dive. So we reduced the paying passengers down to 3. And Stockton said he was taking it down. The first attempt that we did when we were on the surface, the MS Lars just got blown away with the currents.
Yeah.
We did tell him. He wouldn't listen. The vessel captain was very wary about the currents at the time. I tried to give my input in terms of the weather. It's a very exposed area. So we towed the vehicle so that it was in a good position. Stockton took...
I can tell you...
You know what Captain Kirk does? He listens to his specialists on his team.
I've never watched an episode of Star Trek.
It is Ash's favorite.
I should.
I do really like the OG Star Trek.
I probably should one of these days.
It has issues, but it was.
It's dated, but it's one of the things like at its time, it's really good for its time.
Leno Cola, I kind of want to highlight something, because just like Lockridge at least was vindicated. Unfortunately, he's sad that he was vindicated. You like aside from like the money draining his savings, you can tell this guy is like the deaths.
This is what he did not want to happen.
Yes, the deaths actually weigh on him. Like,
I mean, he did what he could.
He did what he could, but I think
the federal government is at fault for this.
Yeah,
I mean, and
do
Stockton.
think that Stockton ultimately is the most at fault for this. And yes, there's bureaucratic issues. Again, we've highlighted it. He accepted it, but is still disappointed. I think the deaths do weigh on him. Not that he blames himself, but it just weighs on him that like he just couldn't fight the fight because nobody helped them. Literally nobody helped them. And that's what's actually incredibly sad. Nobody helped them.
The helm, the controls for Cyclops, it's actually done at the back of the vehicle, and there is camera systems mounted to the, I don't know now, but there was camera systems mounted only to the front, just above the acrylic sphere.
And if I remember correctly, wasn't this, he only manned the first version. He never manned the second version of it, which is like another crazy thing. So what he's talking about, for those who don't know, when you see the diagram isn't like, oh, but he was piloting in the front. Lockridge only piloted the first version of Titan, which was Cyclops 1. He never piloted, I believe, the second version. He wasn't around for it. It's really important to remember.
The forward viewing dome. And you controlled it on the back.
Because they had a viewing dome on top. Titan 2, I don't believe, had a viewing dome on top at the time, which is part of the problem.
Yes, the PlayStation controller. And
oh, God.
When we went to do the dive platform was submerged down to its working depth.
That must fucking kill. That would kill
12 feet, 15 feet. Took it down so that it's away from the adverse weather conditions. He attempted to take it off. He didn't do it very well. He ended up bending the dive skids on the bottom, the landing skids, which are usually flat, which contain the drop weights. We deployed diver to verify, and anyway, we got the thumbs up. He departed from the MS Lars at depth, came up to the surface, which we usually did, established main communications with the vessel, and from there he took it down. I kept saying, please keep your distance. Don't tell me what to do. That was the conversation.
Yep. Don't tell me what to do.
He decided to go straight for the wreck. He had on sonar, clear sonar image. You could see the wreck, and boom. As I said, it's not very deep. Visibility's not excellent, but it was clear enough. Good ambient light that day, and he came straight down, hard on the bottom. Yeah. No trimming, no ballast, nothing. Smash straight down on the bottom. Visibility went everywhere. You could see a silhouette, and it was the two clients that were sitting in the viewing dome right next to the acrylic. And they were like, oh my God, we are right on the wreck. So I said to Stockton, please, all stop telling me what to do. Stockton, all stop. We have to see what's going on here. We have to look at our surroundings, which is standard practice for any competent submersible pilot. And from there...
Again, this means that they are right up on the wreck. They're about to hit it.
Visibility cleared. We could see metal plates, and we could clearly see the starboard side of the bow of the Andrea Doria. We could see all the debris, we could see hawser lines, we could see panels coming off. It was an absolute mess. So I said, Stockton, please, and he just kept arguing with me in the sub. Very unbecoming of a submersible pilot. I was trying to guide him, I'm trying to give the best course of action to get him out of it. No matter what, I'm doing this. So he blew air in the tank, and the ballast tank came off the bottom, motored full stick ahead, unbeknownst to everybody else, and I don't know why. He decided to turn the submersible 180 degrees at speed, still coming ahead, so he wasn't looking at his surroundings. He could have quite easily went up into the viewing dome, he could have went up into the tower, because it's got a clear acrylic hatch on there. And he basically drove at full speed into the port side of the bow, and we could hear the cracking of the fairing as he got us jammed in underneath. So I'm not going to say how.
That's how scary. They were jammed underneath a decrepit, falling apart wreckage.
Fucking psycho.
Because of this man's hubris, they were, and this is years before the implosion. He jams them, and this is not even the submersible that it imploded. He jams them underneath a falling apart wreckage that has already taken the lives of 18 divers.
How foul my language was, but it wasn't good. And at that point, it wasn't unprofessional behaviour of him. He started to panic.
Throttle them.
And the first thing was, do we have enough life support on board? I was like, Stockton, of course we got enough life support. We need to get out here. When do you think the dive team could come to get us out? Stockton, please, give me the controls. I'm going to get us out of this. We're stuck, we're stuck, we're stuck. Repeatedly, every time I went to take the controller from him, he pushed it further and further behind him, inside the submersible itself.
Inside.
I said, I can be quite vocal sometimes. At that point, it went on and on and on. I'm looking up inside the upper hatch. I could see where there was fishing line draping over the top of the sub, all the metal rebar. There was debris everywhere. He never once got out the seat in the back of the sub to go and look at his surroundings. So I said, let's get a communications check. Let's talk to the top side, let them know what's going on. What if there's no comms? I'm like, give me the controls. Let me talk to them. Let me talk to top side, and I'm going to get us out of this. This went on.
This guy is so angry because, and I can't believe I have to remind you, he is worried for his own life, yes. But he feels, at that point, responsible for every life on board. He's not thinking about himself. Obviously,
that's a
at
captain.
some point he is. That's a captain. This is a seasoned, decorated officer telling you to back the fuck up and let me do my fucking job, you narcissistic piece of shit. Again, I say this I will say this to the day I die. I wish Stockton was in the thing by himself when it imploded. I'll say it. Because the fact that 4 other lives were lost is, like, it's so insane to me. It's just so crazy. Has anyone ever had to correct their parents about something? That's what this felt like. Yes, it does. Yeah, Concordia. Fire Festival. Concordia is Concordia is so interesting. And I learned about that from internet historian.
On and on and on for a period of time. And eventually it took one of the paying clients to turn round, and Renata, who you're interviewing on Thursday, she shouted at Stockton to give me the effing controller. She had tears in her eyes.
Yeah.
He reached round behind him. I had my head up inside the tower, so I'm still looking at the wreck, and he clattered it off the right side of my head. The controller landed on the...
He threw the fucking controller at him inside of the submersible. He didn't even turn around and give it to him. He whipped it at him.
Like, he could have fucking broke that thing. And
had they had broke the controller, what the fuck would have happened? It was the Logitech 2 controller.
I think this is the PS.
Well, that was the PlayStation.
Oh,
one.
PlayStation.
That's the PlayStation controller.
Yes. So, sturdy build.
Build.
They were fine for at least 3 more throws.
I'm glad the 6-axis was not activated when he threw it, or this would have went all fucking crazy.
The deck plate, one of the buttons came off, the robust...
Oh my god.
Oh, it did fucking break! It's...
Oh my god. This is a nightmare. This is a nightmare.
It did fucking come off! Insane!
Which button? This is very important.
I bet you it was the X button.
I was going to say circle.
Oh, honestly speaking, let's be real. If he chucked it, it might have been one of the bumpers.
Oh yeah, R2, R1.
Yeah.
PlayStation controller. I picked it up, repaired it.
He repaired it. Fuck me. Imagine this guy can never look at a fucking PlayStation controller the same way. Not to say that he ever did, but it's such a fucking insane thing.
And had us out 10, 15 minutes. Motored away from the wreck, came away 50 meters using the sonar, turned us around, dropped down, and I said, that is what we're supposed to do. And at that point, he was upset. He said, I owe you one, anything I can do for you. We came back on board the ship, and the divers had to reattach us onto the MS Lars once we had recovered to the surface because the deck skids were so badly damaged.
What if one of the joysticks had moved? Corianne, you're asking all the correct questions.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's probably some, not drift. Drift is probably not the word I'm looking for. There's probably some level of like startup, like input
like a
lag.
helicopter.
There's probably some level of input lag because it's starting the propellers. But yeah, imagine. Imagine if it just got stuck in a position. Latency is what I'm looking for, yes. There's probably some level of latency because it has to start the propellers up. But like, just imagine for a second. If you ever played Pokemon before, chat, or you played a video game, or an old MMORPG, no, an old RPG, old Final Fantasy. Oh, God. Crazy to know that stick drift played a part. Yeah.
Crazy to know that stick drift played a part here.
Crazy. Now, chat. Do I have a controller here? I actually have a controller. I have a controller. So I have a controller here. Yes, it's rose pink. Yes, latency is what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Latency. Well, they did connect it with Bluetooth.
Let's say you're playing a new Pokemon with a joystick, or you're playing Final Fantasy X. Let's say you're playing Final Fantasy X, and you take a rubber band to the control stick, and you let it move, and so you're spinning around in a circle, so you can do an XP grind. This is for old heads. Before you were able to control the encounter rate, you had to do this. It was the most annoying thing, but it was fun. Now imagine you throw the controller, and this just breaks and gets stuck. Imagine if it's controlling a submersible, and that broke and got stuck when he threw it. Insane.
He did the departing from the platform because he did it incorrectly.
Yeah, the rubber band glitch. Yeah, I know the rubber
came
band.
Back up on top. Obviously, the paying clients. I know one of them was definitely a good friend of Stockton's. We had Renata and one of Renata's friends. And from there, it was all, oh, cheers. David saved us. Slight exaggeration. It shouldn't have got to the stage it got to.
This guy,
this
guy doesn't take credit for saving them. He doesn't take credit because it shouldn't have happened. Best Waka? All bed, all dead. Oh, I'm going to hell for that one. I am going. If you're a Super Best Friends fan, that is a joke from their FF10 Let's Play. All bed, all dead. Oh man, I miss comically racist Waka. It was a good time. He's still in there.
He's still there, yeah.
I know. If it just moved a little bit, they would have just been, they would have been screwed. It's so insane, and I feel like this is a really interesting place to wrap up. Oh, Angels Art, thank you so much.
Putting a rubber band on a controller is peak shiny hunting method, especially in Sun and Moon and Auras. But dear Lord, this is horrifying.
It's
thank you.
Thank you. I think this is a really interesting place to, and I think the most apt place to end the stream for tonight. This is the guy that tried his hardest, spent all of his life savings trying to stop this company from existing, from taking lives. And because the company mattered more than him, unfortunately, 5 people died. Again, I don't give a fuck about Stockton Rush. Rest in shit and piss. You murdered people, in my personal opinion. But it's a real reality.
Bro was dodging lightning bolts for Lulu's weapon.
You are absolutely correct. You are very right. I was doing a lot. More than lives, yeah. He tried to save a lot of people. And that's truly sad. And to end again, I want you guys to hear it. If you came into the stream late, I'm gonna play it for you one more time. This is the popping noise that you would have heard.
Got that on the microphone. Quite attention-getting pops.
Those pops are some of the last sounds that the people aboard the Titan heard before the implosion. It's horrifying. It's sad. And that ends our stream for tonight. So I want to thank everybody very, very much. Big shout outs to the big three, Sai, KJ, and Ash. Big shout out to Sai for giving us this document. I had always planned to cover OceanGate, but Sai doing that and giving me her document was really, really fucking sweet of her. One of the nicest people I know on the internet. Lighthearted stream next? Yes. Lighthearted stream next. I like doing some of this true crime stuff. It is really interesting to me. I think, personally, I think I'm made to present this. You're gonna toot my own horn. But obviously, big shout out to Sai. Big shout out to KJ and Ash. KJ and Ash, very, very integral in grabbing this. KJ for grabbing not only articles and information, but very interesting when he found out and looked at some of the books and things like that regarding OceanGate, and that, hey, they were probably doing some form of charity fraud, which is crazy to think about. And finally,
some money laundering.
Yep, definitely some money laundering going on. And then finally, big shout outs to Ash for grabbing us those legally distinct and definitely not taken from anywhere clips. I don't know where Ash found those, but Ash did a great job finding really close sounds of fiberglass breaking, the carbon fiber strands just delaminating. I recommend, once again, if you have the ability to, go look up. I know on Daily Motion the BBC thing is out there. I do recommend, if you have the ability, please, please, please go watch the Netflix documentary if you can afford it, or the BBC documentary if you can find it.
The BBC, if you have access to like Discovery,
yes,
website, they have it, but it has ads, so that's why.
Yeah, it is what it is. We may just do like a small watch with everybody using their own Netflix accounts. Everybody's using their own Netflix accounts. It's just like listening to a live commentary. Wink. We may do that in the Discord so you guys could really see some of the stuff that we left out. There's stuff on the cutting room floor, like the fact that Stockton Rush constantly tried to put women at the head of this so he could tout that he had the first female submersible drivers because he wanted that as a marketing tool. All the other things that are regarding that, we won't do it now. We may make plans to do it later. I just don't want to talk anymore, if I'm being honest. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff on the cutting room floor that we actually didn't discuss. There's a lot of stuff in this story that had to be left out for time. But I really, really am super grateful and glad you guys chose to spend your night with us. Thank you guys so much for spending your time with the Op Block. It's really, really appreciated. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. If you haven't already liked the video, lurkers, you too, I always love you guys. Thank you so much. Even my hate watchers, I love you even more. Please like and subscribe to the video. I'm going to send you guys over to Beckett. I know Beckett's covering the Lio call. Apparently, I get a mention in this weird Lio debate thing.
What?
I've already discussed my accidental involvement in this was accidentally getting getting messages I didn't ask for and saying, okay, have fun with it. But I'm going to set it up again. Greg, Ash, thank you guys for always being my co-pilots. Very poggies, very based. I'll send you guys over to Beckett. Redirect. Cope and Seed. Thank you guys so much. We're the Op Block. We're going to sign out. Thank you guys again. Ash, Greg, love you both. And goodbye. Goodbye, chat.
Happy Pride till next year.
Happy Pride till next year. Pride 2020.